What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? How's everybody's day going today? Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. Be the weekend pretty soon. Snailium, what's up, bro? How you doing? How you doing? R3, what's up, bro? How you doing? How's everybody's day going? How's everybody's day going? Doing good, Lilo? That's good to hear, Snailium. That's good to hear. That's good to hear, guys. Brody, what's up? How's everybody doing today? Icarus, how's it going? You said it's been a chill day. That's good to hear, bro. Mr. Dens, you said if Luffy uses Snake Man or Future Sight, he ain't hitting him in Gear 5 too. Yeah, guys, so this is something I want to talk about here, okay? People are still trickling in here. So, wait, Cozy, what's up? Ender Sauce, how you doing? You said no, he can't. Yeah, today's stream will be a pretty fun one. Light Point, you said Zoro super high, get a fast pace loop. Yeah, guys. Okay, so I'll give people a couple more moments to hop in here. Just 1 second. I'm gonna put my cat in a different room before we get started. Give me 1 second. Come here, Momo. All right. Okay, chat. Okay. So, this one is going to be a very fun stream today, chat. This will be a very fun stream. This one, I'm definitely going to do timestamps too, because I spent the first minute here just like waiting for people to hop in a little bit. But all right, chat. Let's just go ahead and get into this, okay? Farouk, what's up, dude? Let's go ahead and get into this. So, a couple things before we really get started with the power scaling stuff. This is the third like Zoro power scaling type live stream that I've done on the channel. And I think after this one, I will not do another one until Zoro gets some more feats in the manga. I just have to be like intelligent about where I put my time in these live streams, because I don't know if my like fan base really likes Zoro that much. I'm not sure why, but the Zoro live streams actually really don't do that well. Like if I just do a Hunter Q&A stream, I get about the same amount of views. So it's like I should probably spend my time focusing more on other characters. I don't know, but I like talking about Zoro. It's fun to me. So I like doing these, but I just have to be intelligent about like where I put my time in these live streams. So this will probably be the last Zoro live stream I do until Zoro gets some more feats in the manga, okay? That's the first thing. Secondly, in all my previous live stream debates that I've done, I listen back to them because they're actually like some of my favorite live stream debates to do when talking about Zoro. But here's something I noticed. Every time I would bring this question up, can Zoro even hit Future Sight Luffy? People were very quick to change the subject. Very quick. Okay? It was very quick. Like, every single time. So that's what we're going to really focus on today. But in all of my previous debates involving Zoro, the moment I would ask the question to people, how does Zoro hit Future Sight Luffy? Can Zoro hit Future Sight Luffy? Everyone was very, very quick to change the subject. And I haven't really gotten a straightforward answer to that from people yet. So I decided, you know what, for this, This Zoro live stream, like I said, this will probably be the last one until Zoro gets some more feats in Elbaf. So it's like, okay, for this like special Zoro live stream, let's just focus on this one question, because I've already gone in detail talking about how strong Zoro is, how his feats are on par with just Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy, but narratively, you could put him up to Gear 4 narratively. And I've made a bunch of live streams on this. We've talked about it for hours and hours. We've gone into detail on that in previous live streams. For today, I just want to talk about, can Zoro hit Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy? Well, can Zoro hit Luffy if he's using Future Sight? That's all I want to focus on for today, because we've already had 2 other live streams going in detail, power scaling their strength. Like the first one was us talking about Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy versus Egghead Zoro. How would that go? We went in detail on that. And then the last stream we did was like Elbaf Luffy versus Elbaf Zoro, and we went on detail on that. Today, only thing I want to focus on is the simple question, can Zoro hit Luffy if he's using Future Sight? That's it, okay? Evil Brew, you said, Lilo, I appreciate the One Piece streams. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's just, I just have to be intelligent about like how I spend my time doing live streams, just because these ones are not really doing that well. So I was just telling myself today, I'm like, all right, this will probably be the last one I do until Zoro gets some more feats, okay? Because I think he will get more feats by the end of Elbaf. It's just, and it's like, I like doing these, but I just have to be intelligent about where I put my time, okay? So, all right, let's just talk about this. Why is this even a question? Well, it's because the Luffy versus Katakuri fight shows us what happens if someone who does not have Future Sight tries to fight a Future Sight user. They literally can't hit them. They literally can't hit them. Mr. Bridge, you said the Zoro hate is getting to a point. This is not Zoro hate, bro. I love Zoro. This is just like me just being honest. Because here's something that I'll just mention really quick before we really get into the scaling. This is a very unique time in the One Piece fandom experience. For the first time, and potentially ever, Zoro fans are in the same position that Sanji fans have been in since the start of the series, okay? I'm going to talk about this, and I want you guys to really think about what I'm about to say here, because this is something I've noticed, and maybe you guys have noticed a similar thing. For the first time really ever, Zoro fans are in the same position that Sanji fans have been in since the start of the series, because Sanji fans, whenever they would want to say that Sanji is on par with Zoro or Sanji is even stronger than Zoro, people would try to make those arguments. I don't think Sanji's stronger than Zoro, by the way, but people would try to make these arguments for most of the series. And to do that, because Sanji had worse feats than Zoro, Sanji fans would have to use like multiple highballs, string together a bunch of highball assumptions. They're like, okay, if you assume this highball thing here, and you assume this highball thing here, and you assume this highball thing here, then that means Sanji is as strong as Zoro is. That's how it's been for Sanji fans' experience, like pretty much all of One Piece. But now Zoro fans are in that same situation when they're trying to compare Zoro to Luffy, because Luffy just straight up has better feats. So when you see Zoro fans trying to defend, like when you see Zoro fans try to say Zoro is like Gear 5 Luffy level, for example, or that he could beat Gear 4, what you see them do is they'll string together about at least 2, sometimes 3 highball assumptions back to back. They'll say, okay, if you assume this highball about Zoro, then that means this highball about Zoro is true, then this highball about Zoro is true, and if you assume all of that, then Zoro's about on par with a lowballed Luffy. And I've seen that happen, and it's just a very unique time in the One Piece experience. So this is not Zoro hate, this is me just like talking about what's happening right now. It's interesting to me. So anyway, let's focus in on this, and I'll just give an analysis for why I even made this live stream. Okay, so Luffy versus Katakuri. This is Oda showing us what happens when someone who does not have Future Sight battles a Future Sight user. They cannot hit him. They straight up cannot hit him. You see it throughout the entire fight. Luffy fought Katakuri for 11 hours, and the entire time that Katakuri was using Future Sight, Luffy could not land a single attack on him. and Luffy was just really getting slammed. I think a lot of people need to go back and reread this fight. Luffy was getting decimated. Okay? It was just like no matter what Luffy did, Katakuri was dodging every single attack, was just slamming him into the floor. And Katakuri has this line of dialogue saying it had been years since he had taken any damage. It had been years since he was punched. It had been years since he was punched. Okay? The only time Luffy was landing hits on Katakuri was when Katakuri was not using Future Sight, or when Luffy started developing Future Sight himself. Like when Luffy was using Future Sight himself. But when it was just Luffy who didn't have Future Sight versus a Future Sight using Katakuri, Luffy did not land a single attack. He was getting slammed the entire fight. There's even this scene here. There's even this scene here, which is one of my favorite scenes in the fight. Luffy can't even launch an attack. Like, this is the gap that happens when a non-Future Sight user fights a Future Sight user. There's this scene where Luffy tries to throw a punch, Katakuri punches him in the shoulder. He tries to throw another punch, Katakuri punches him in the other shoulder. He tries to stand up, Katakuri sweeps his feet from underneath him. And, like, Luffy's just, like, angry. He can't do anything. That's the difference. That's the difference, okay? Like, when someone who can't use Future Sight is fighting a Future Sight user and they're of relative stats, then the Future Sight user just dominates them. The Future Sight user just dominates them, bro. Luffy could not even hit this man. And like, the crazy thing is, I could make an argument that Luffy actually had faster reaction speed than Katakuri, and he still couldn't hit him. A couple things back this up. For one, the moment that Katakuri turns off his Future Sight, Luffy starts tagging him even in base form. Okay, that's one thing. The moment Katakuri stops using Future Sight, he starts getting tagged. The other thing is Luffy was dodging fatal blows from Katakuri while Katakuri was seeing the future. I've said this in my other streams, but I'll say it just one more time. Throughout the entire first beginning portion of the fight, Katakuri was using his mole spear and was trying to kill Luffy with it. He was looking into the future, trying to attack Luffy where he was going to be, and Luffy was still dodging it anyway. The only way that's possible is if Luffy has faster reaction speed than Katakuri. That's the only way that's possible. Okay, so what you're seeing here, a dude who has arguably faster reaction speed than Katakuri still cannot hit him. Still cannot hit him. Okay? Until Luffy could see the future himself, he was not hitting Future Sight Katakuri. It just didn't happen the whole fight, and they fought for 11 hours. All right? And then during this fight, Katakuri has this line of dialogue. He says, Luffy's starting to see the same future that I do. He's starting to see the same future that Katakuri does. This is where Luffy starts developing Future Sight. And you see him dodge a silent needle. Okay? Then you start seeing him dodge Future Sight Katakuri's punches. And then this is like the first time he hits Katakuri while Katakuri's using Future Sight. It's after Luffy starts using Future Sight himself. Okay? And then this is actually one of my favorite moments in the entire fight. Yo, a donation, bro. Weary, thank you very much. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it a lot. These are the kind of things that keep the stream going, to be honest. You said the only thing... Well, no, that's not entirely true. I just like talking about Zoro too. But I really appreciate the donations a lot, guys. So thank you very much, Weary. You said the only thing Zoro's hitting is that sake bottle. But here's the thing, guys. Thank you, Weary, man. I appreciate that a lot. But here's the thing. This scene is really hype. This is where Luffy and Katakuri are both seeing into the future while they're talking to each other. So they're replying to things before the person actually says it. I don't know if the anime portrays it quite as well as the manga does, because here's Katakuri, he's saying something and Luffy answers him before he says it. Like Katakuri says, "Is this all you've got?" But before he says all you've got, Luffy already answers him. He said, "Yeah, that's right." Like he's saying that is all he has. And that like Luffy's saying, yes, that was everything he could do in his current state. And then Katakuri answers Luffy before Luffy says the next thing Luffy's about to say. He says, "It's time to end this. If you can, this is the end." But Katakuri's like, "I already answered that." So I love this scene because it's showing you that both of them are seeing into the future as they're talking to each other. I love that scene. It's sick. But anyways, after fighting Katakuri, Luffy's future sight gets better. Like gets better at using it to the point where he's not only using future sight for himself, he's using future sight for other people while Luffy's training Rio Haki at the same time. This is while Luffy's training Rio Haki at the same time. He's like telling Hyogoro what to do ahead of time, telling him to dodge this attack, telling him to jump up, do all these things. And he's like, "Bro, are you like looking into the future legit?" And he's that's what he's doing. And Luffy's doing this while he's working on his Rio Haki. So this is showing you like Luffy's gotten a lot better at using future sight. And even when he was just starting to learn it, Katakuri was already saying he was seeing the same future Katakuri was. Okay, now Luffy's even better at it now to the point where he can see the future not just for himself but for other people around him while he's training a completely different type of Haki. He's gotten really good at it. This is what I'm saying. Then there's this other scene where Luffy's legitimately poisoned by this insane poison. It's like cooking him, and Luffy has poison resistance and it's still like decimating him. That's how you know it's an extremely lethal like toxin that's hitting him. And Luffy can still see into the future while he's in this state. He stops an attack from this like elephant guy. He's like, "I just saw a pretty bad future just now," and stops an attack from him and is straight up aura farming. While Luffy's in this critical condition, he can still see into the future, right? So all of this is to show you that Luffy, he was already seeing into the same future that Katakuri was back in Whole Cake Island in the middle of their fight. Now this is a much stronger Luffy. He's gotten several Haki Bloom scents, and his future sight is just genuinely cracked now. Okay. Oh yeah. So this is just a panel showing like Luffy's reaction speed being really impressive, but he's still like getting cooked by Katakuri and still can't even hit him. So my question for the whole chat today: can Zoro even hit Luffy? That's my whole question. Okay. That's all I want to talk about today. Can Zoro even hit this guy? That's all I want to talk about today. Can Zoro even hit this guy? Okay, so before I open up, well, I'll show you guys just the the standard procedure. If you want to have a debate on this in the Discord chat, go to here's the quick walkthrough. You go to my channel, you click on posts, you scroll down to this Zoro post here, you click on the comments, and then you click the pinned comment, and that'll take you to the Discord. Where we can have a verbal discussion, debate over this. But I want to hear what you guys think. Can Zoro even hit this guy? Because I've made several streams talking about how powerful Zoro is. My stance on it is that he's relative to Gear 2 and Gear 3 Luffy in feats, based off of the crazy feats Luffy was performing on the rooftop against Kaido. But narratively, you could say he's relative to Gear 4. I've already made multiple hour-long streams explaining that. So today, all I want to focus on is, can Zoro even hit this guy? Let's not worry about anything else. Can Zoro hit him? So before I get into the Discord, I will read some of the comments in the chat. What do you guys in the YouTube chat think? Can Zoro hit this guy? And if you have a point to mention to me, could you put at Lilo's Adventure in it? Because it looks like people in the chat are debating amongst each other, which is fine. I just want to know, do you guys think? I'm asking the chat right now. Do you guys think that he can hit Luffy? Anime Monarch, you said, heard a guy say Gear 2 is faster than Gear 4. What's your thoughts on that? I disagree. Doflamingo's statements on it kind of implied that it's at least the same speed, if not just straight up faster, because when Luffy's fighting Doflamingo's like, your Gear 2's fast enough to hit me, but it doesn't have enough strength. And your Gear 3 has enough strength, but it's not fast enough to hit me. Like, you need something else. Then he uses Gear 4, and it seems faster than Gear 2 and stronger than Gear 3. So, Levi said, what do you mean by hit, though? Like, make contact? I mean, can he punch Luffy and damage him? I mean, like, not punch. Can he hit Luffy and damage him? Because we see when Luffy fights Katakuri, the entire fight when Katakuri's using Future Sight, Luffy can't hit him at all. Luffy doesn't land a single attack on Katakuri while Katakuri's using Future Sight. Doesn't hit him a single time. And then Katakuri has this line of dialogue where he says, it had been years since he was punched. Years. The only time Katakuri gets hit by Luffy is when Katakuri's not using Future Sight, or when Luffy starts seeing the future himself. So my question to you guys is, can Zoro even hit Future Sight Luffy? Anno, you said, I don't think so. Snailium, you said, no, he lacks the speed. But he lacks the extra speed needed. Lightpoint said, no way. Rocket, you said, only the fans treat Zoro like Vegeta. He doesn't have many losses in One Piece. Oh, Weary, another donation, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot. You said, I missed the last stream, but were people genuinely arguing that current Zoro beats current Luffy? This level of delusion is insane, even for Mihawk fans. No, but, like, the debates were becoming, like, people thought that Zoro was Gear 5 level, or people thought Zoro was, like, an Admiral level fighter. Or, like, if he fought the Admirals, it'd be a really close fight. My stance on it, I've already said my stance on it, like, multiple times. That Zoro's feats are like Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy level, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, that's how it was the entire series up until the post-time skip anyway. Like, the entire pre-time skip, that's what the gap was. It was like Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy would beat him. And, like, even at the start of post-time skip, that's what people thought, too. Like, we didn't even know Gear 4 existed, and people were like, oh, yeah, we've just seen Gear 2, we've seen Elephant Gatling. Yeah, we still think Luffy would beat Zoro. That was, like, the general consensus. And now that Advanced Conqueror's Hockey's been added to the mix, it seems like it just became that again. Like, Gear 2, Gear 3 is relative to what Zoro's shown. And narratively, you could say he's, like, relative to Gear 4, but that's about it. And it's like, when I say that, and I really think of feats to back it up, I personally can't think of any. So, but I just wanted to say, because, like, people say, oh, well, Zoro gets stronger each arc. It's like, yeah, but Luffy does too. So, like, here's the thing. All I wanted to focus on today is just, can Zoro even hit him? If Luffy's using Future Sight, can Zoro hit him? Galbotic said, why wouldn't Zoro be able to hit Luffy? Kaido is slower than Luffy and was still able to hit him. Kaido is slower than Luffy? I don't know about that. Like, Kaido, like, is massively stronger than Luffy, actually. Like, when Kaido... So, here's the thing. Like, I'm not exactly sure what Kaido you're referring to, but I could still make an argument that even right now, this massively stronger Luffy in Elbaf might still lose in a 1v1 to Kaido. Kaido is a monster. And, yeah, like, Kaido was speed blitzing Gear 4 at the start of Wano. Like, just speed blitzing him, cooking him. Kaido is a monster. Just because he's big doesn't mean he's like a slow character. Kaido is extremely fast too. And just extremely powerful. Lucky said, in Gear 5? Question mark. I'm not exactly sure what he means by that. Like, are you saying, can Zoro hit him? I mean in general. Like, if Luffy's using Future Sight, let's say he's using Gear 2 and Future Sight, can Zoro hit him? I want to see what you guys think. Makito, are we talking about Gear 5 or just Gear 2? For now, I'd like to just talk about Gear 2. Because I want to see, like, can anyone prove that Zoro can hit Luffy in Gear 2 if Luffy's using Future Sight? If you guys can prove that, then we'll move up to, like, Gear 4 and Gear 5. But let's just start with Gear 2, I'd say, first. Does anyone have proof that Zoro can hit Gear 2 Luffy if he's using Future Sight? Zenon says, does Zoro even have Future Sight? If he doesn't, he gets slammed. He's never stated that he's had Future Sight, no. Lucky, what is Zoro's first name? Roronoa Zoro. Ace, you said, yeah, he can land a hit if Luffy lets him. Well, Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if Luffy's using future sight, can Zoro hit him? The real, you said it's hit and damage now. At first it was hit. I don't really see what that changes. Like, the whole point of this stream is, do you guys think he can, like, land an attack on Luffy if Luffy's using future sight? That's the whole point of the stream. Rocket, you said Zoro has fought airborne multiple times, also has mastered his range. If Luffy is in that range, then Zoro can touch him. How, though? I'm not following along, because we see Luffy versus Katakuri, right? You can honestly debate that Luffy had faster reaction speed than Katakuri, because Katakuri was trying to kill him with the mole spear for the first half of the fight. Katakuri was looking into the future, trying to hit Luffy with the mole spear, and Luffy was still dodging it. The only way that's possible is if Luffy has faster reaction speed than Katakuri. Despite this, Luffy could not hit Katakuri the entire time that Katakuri was using future sight. So this is showing you that even if you're slightly faster than your opponent, you still can't hit them if they have future sight and you don't. So I don't, like, the range doesn't really change anything. All of Luffy's attacks are ranged attacks too. Like, he's hitting you from far away because he's like made of rubber, but he still couldn't land an attack on Katakuri. So how does Zoro hit Katakuri exactly? Evil Gru, you said Zoro can't tag Luffy. Sorry, Mr. Bridge, we need to lock it. Yeah, I want to see, does anyone in the chat have an argument to say that he can actually hit him? Kagito, Zoro can tag Luffy. Whether he wins is a whole different discussion. How does he tag him, though? Like, can anyone here provide a feat that proves that Zoro can tag Luffy while he's using future sight? Does anyone in the chat have a feat, a single feat? I'm asking for one feat that proves it. Does anyone in the chat have one feat that proves Zoro can hit Gear 2 Luffy using future sight? That's all I'm asking for. I'm looking for anything. The real, you said, yes, because we seen how Zoro reacts to opened faster than him. He options for reaction speed. I'm not sure if I'm reading those abbreviations correctly. I don't fully understand that one. Could you please reword that? I'm not really sure what... Are you saying we've seen Zoro react to opponents faster than him? Faster than who? Who has Zoro fought that's faster than Gear 2 Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy? Who... that... with future sight? Like, it's not just speed, it's future sight that's the problem. Luffy seeing into the future, and we saw that when like I just said, Luffy might have been faster than Katakuri in reaction speed, but Katakuri, he didn't hit him one time in 11 hours. How does Zoro hit future sight Luffy? It's not just about speed. The future sight is the real problem. Just Ruse, you said Katakuri can manipulate his own body to make attacks that would hit miss. His future sight is bigger advantage compared to other characters. Katakuri straight up says that Luffy, even in the middle of their battle, was starting to see the same future he did. Then Luffy's future sight gets even better from multiple Haki blooms after that, to the point where he can see the future for other opponents, while Luffy's not even focused on it. He's trying to learn Rio, and he can still see the future for other people. And he was already seeing the same future as Katakuri back in Whole Cake. So, and like, here you see Katakuri, just dodging. He's not even manipulating his body here. He's just dodging the attacks. Like, Luffy's just not hitting him. So, how does Zoro hit him? Mega, Ashura is fast enough to tag Luffy. What proof of there is that? What proof of there is it that Ashura is, like, magically fast enough to tag Advanced Conqueror's Haki Gear 2 Luffy? Where is the proof for that? Didn't Lucci hit Luffy? No. Their entire fight, he never even damages him. And then you can also argue that, like, was Luffy even using future sight? Lucci at the end of the battle says, like, he doesn't even understand, like, how this last punch is so much stronger than the first one. It's very clear Luffy was holding back the entire fight. Was Luffy even using future sight? Because look, like, just because Luffy gets hit by an opponent doesn't mean Zoro can hit future sight Luffy. That's the whole, like, I'm not saying can Zoro hit Luffy if he's not using future sight. I'm not saying can Zoro hit Luffy if Luffy's holding back. I'm not saying can Zoro hit Luffy if he's not trying. I'm not saying can Zoro hit Luffy if he's taking a nap. I'm saying can Zoro hit future sight Gear 2 Luffy? And do you guys have even one feat that proves yes to that? That's what I'm asking. I'm just looking. Makito, you said Kaido speed blitz Gear 5 and he was hit when Luffy through his future sight. What does that have to do with Zoro? And, like, what exact chapter, what exact page are you referring to where it's like confirm Luffy's using future sight? Like, what? Kaido is magnitude stronger than Zoro. Okay, so, like, how does that prove Zoro can hit Gear 2? How does that prove Zoro can hit future sight Luffy? Because, like, I'm seeing people are saying, like, okay, I've seen some scenes where Luffy, he might not have been using future sight, but somebody hit him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if Luffy's using future sight, how does someone who's relative to him hit him when Katakuri said for years that never happened, Dan? They fought for 11 hours. He didn't get hit. Like, I'm trying to be respectful. How does this happen, you know? Gigas said Zoro is at best relative to base Luffy in speed if you're generous. If Luffy uses future sight, it's wraps. It's a very good point, man. I'm just trying to see, does anyone have a single feat? We've had about 60 people in here. I've been reading a few of these comments now. I haven't seen a single feat. I'm trying to read them all. Here, did I miss some? I probably missed some. Hold up. Where was I? I read the donation and that brought me down a bunch in the chat. I'm trying to scroll back up and, like, read all of them. And, like, if you guys have a point directly for me, like, please, somebody please provide one feat that says Zoro can tag Gear 2 Luffy with future sight. Put at Lilo's Adventure and tag me. I will read it. I'm really looking through all these comments. Cosmic, you said hop in the Discord, Lilo. I will in one moment because I just want to see if anyone in the chat has an argument for how Zoro can even hit him. I'm looking. Gigas, Zoro straight up is not touching base Luffy. Dareal, you said the same way he hit King. Does King have future sight? Does King, like, okay, a couple things here. Does King have future sight? 2, is King on par with Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy? I don't know. I think the answer to both of those is no. You said Dareal, when Zoro is outsped by King's laser light attack, he opts to react instead of chase. What does that... How does that prove he hits Luffy, though? I'm not like, how... Guys, I'll just say it one more time. I'm looking for one feat that proves Zoro can hit future sight Luffy. I'm still not seeing it yet. I'm looking. You said Zoro's reaction speed would allow him to attack Luffy when Luffy engages. How? Katakuri went years without being hit while using future sight. Years. Luffy fought Katakuri for 11 hours, might have had the faster reaction speed the entire time, and couldn't hit Katakuri a single time until Luffy started seeing the future himself. How is Zoro going to do this? Makito, you said you could argue Zoro is relative to Sanji, and Sanji was able to block one of Kizaru's attacks, and Kizaru was keeping up with Gear 5 just fine. Okay. He's relative to... Okay, let me see if I can follow along here. You're saying Zoro is relative to Sanji, okay. Sanji was able to block one of Kizaru's attacks, okay. And Kizaru was keeping up with Gear 5. Okay, couple things. Was Luffy using Future Sight against Kizaru? Like, okay, just because Sanji can kick away one light beam from Kizaru doesn't magically mean Zoro is fast enough to hit a Future Sight user. Because, like, you're taking the Future Sight out of the equation. You're taking Future Sight out of... I'm saying with Future Sight, can Zoro hit Luffy? That's what I'm saying. If Luffy... I'm not saying if Luffy's in Gear 5 and he's just having fun. I'm not saying if Luffy's getting angry. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying if Luffy's using Future Sight, can we agree that Zoro and Luffy are relative in stats? If they are, how does he hit him? I see another one. Anime Monarch, you said, did you say base Luffy was able to hit Katakuri when he wasn't using Future Sight? Yes, he was. Yeah, when Katakuri dropped his Future Sight, Luffy kicks him in the chin in base. So, like, that's good evidence to show you that Luffy was, like, faster than Katakuri the whole fight in reaction speed and still couldn't hit him, bro. Oh, another donation from Gigas, bro. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that a lot. Kaido announces that he's using Future Sight against Advanced Conqueror's Haki Snake Man. This was after Luffy had risen several levels in speed and strength. Using Future Sight against Advanced Conqueror. So, I mean, that just shows Luffy's just even more crafty than I was saying. So, yeah, I don't really know. Guys, yeah, I'm not seeing a single argument for how Zoro can hit him yet. So, I'm just going to go to the Discord. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I don't see a single argument for how Zoro can hit him yet. So I'm gonna go to the Discord. Here, let me open this up on my. Let me open up this chat on my other laptop here, so I can still see it. Just give me 1 second. I really want to see if anyone has a significant argument for how Zoro could even hit this dude, because we saw in Luffy versus Katakuri. Luffy could not hit Katakuri for 11 hours, bruh. Wait, Sonic, I missed your argument. Let me read yours before I go to the Discord. I just see no. Oh, wait, you said, Mihawk literally stated, Zoro, you might not best me in swordsmanship, but I must say you are the fastest swordsman I have ever seen in the 7 seas. Wait, are you joking? Are you... This is a meme? Is this just a meme post? I don't know. I'm sorry if you're not memeing. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just Rocket. I like Zoro, but like I said before, this is a very, very interesting time in like One Piece as a One Piece fan. I'll say this one more time for any because Rocket, I don't hate Zoro. This is like a big reason why I'm doing these streams. It's because this is a very unique time to be a One Piece fan, because for the first time in almost ever, Zoro fans are in the exact same position that Sanji fans have been in since the start of the series. Whenever Sanji fans would want to say that Sanji is like equal in strength to Zoro, they would have to make like 2 or 3 highball assumptions and string them all together just to make that argument. They'd be like, oh yeah, if you highball this about Sanji, and you highball this about Sanji, and you highball this about Sanji, and you connect them all together, that means Sanji's equal to Zoro. But for the first time in a long time, it's the same thing for people trying to say Zoro's on par with Luffy. You have to go like, oh, well, if you highball this about Zoro, and you highball this about Zoro, and you highball this about Zoro, you string them all together, that means Zoro's equal to Luffy still. Like, it's a unique time. So I don't hate Zoro. I actually really like him. But this is a unique time, and I want to talk about it. So, again, the question's still up there. Let me know if you guys have a counter to it. I haven't seen a counter to it yet. But that doesn't mean a counter doesn't exist. So I want to see if anyone can can find one. Give me 1 second. I'm about to hop in the Discord. Give me 1 sec here. So I'm going over to the Discord. So while I'm in the Discord, I'll still I have the other chats open, but like during the Discord portion, I will probably only be like responding to super chats. I'm not trying to be rude or like force people to super chat. It's just I want the people in the like don't super chat if you don't want to. But it's just like during the Discord debate, I'm only going to talk to them, okay? Because I want them to like get their points off, right? And I don't want to interrupt them. So let me open up this Discord. And I don't want people in the chat to just feel like I'm ignoring them to be rude. So, but okay, I'm hopping in. All right. Yo, what's up, everybody? Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Are you guys here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear us?
Oh, hold on. My phone's being weird. I might have to leave and come back. 1 second. Okay, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh, okay. I heard you there. Hello.
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys now too. How's everybody doing?
I'm good.
That's good.
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah. Let's. You guys all wanted to do the debate for this stream, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I'll go last.
okay. 6-6. So who would want to go first?
Me.
Okay. Yeah. Was that Anno? I think. Or-
Cosmic.
Oh, Cosmic. Oh, what's up, bro? Yeah, Cosmic. Okay, feel free to share your points. I think we can do maybe let's start with 5 minutes for each person, and if that's not long enough, we'll go like to 7 or maybe 10. So, yeah, Cosmic, feel free to share your points. What do you think? Can Zoro hit Future Sight Luffy?
Yes. And about the point that you made about category, category specifically stated that he was faster and stronger. And the reason why Luffy was able to land against category was that category threw Coffin out of the window and fought him reckless.
You said, sorry, what was that last part? I think my phone was just being weird. I heard you say Katakuri was faster, and then what was the last part you said?
Yeah, category said that he was faster and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why Luffy was able to land against category was because category threw Coulson out of the window and fought him recklessly.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, Katakuri, I would say he's faster in travel speed. But in reaction speed, Luffy's feats were faster. Like, because here's the thing. Luffy could not see into the future, but Katakuri could, right? And Katakuri was trying to stab him with the mole spear. So think about it from Katakuri's perspective. He's looking into the future, trying to stab where Luffy's going to be, and he still misses. The only way that's possible is if Luffy's at least a little bit faster in reaction speed. That's the point I'm making. And also, like, the moment Katakuri gets angry and stops looking into the future, Luffy's hitting him in base form.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He threw Coulson out of the window, and that's why Luffy was able to land. And the thing about Luffy having better reaction, we didn't see category reacting without future sight normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the point. I think you can make a good argument that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we can gauge who has faster reaction speed without categories future sight.
Well, I mean, I think the fight shows us pretty clearly, because it's like, what if Katakuri had faster reaction speed? Why didn't he just immediately one-shot Luffy with the mole spear? How was Luffy dodging him? He couldn't see the future. How was that happening?
How does that prove Luffy has better reaction speed?
Well, I'm asking you, how else is that even possible?
You can let, just because you're not able to one-shot somebody doesn't mean the other guy has better reaction speed.
No. Here's what I'm saying. So you agree, like at the start of this fight here, I'll pull up the panels. So at the start of the fight, Katakuri could see the future, but Luffy couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Katakuri's looking into the future. He has a spear. He's trying to stab where Luffy's going to be, and it still misses. How is that
Yeah,
possible?
that doesn't prove Luffy has better reaction speed.
Well, I'm genuinely just asking you how does that happen? How? You tell me. How does that happen?
What do Luffy is fast. It doesn't mean he's faster than category.
No. That's
To gauge their reaction speed, who has better, we have to see both of their reaction speed without future sight. We didn't see that.
we did see that when Katakuri got angry and wasn't using future sight. Luffy hits him in base form, but that's not my question. Hold on, Cosmic. Wait,
Yeah, that.
hold on a
Okay,
second.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's not my question. I'm just genuinely asking you. How else does it happen? If Luffy can't see the future, Katakuri can. He's trying to hit Luffy where Luffy's going to be and he misses. How does that happen? Explain that, please.
Because Luffy is fast. I didn't say Luffy was slow.
Okay, being fast is not enough because he's looking into the future and hitting him where he's going to be. The only way that's happening is if Luffy's moving faster than Katakuri. He's moving so fast that even when Katakuri looks into the future, he misses. That's the only way that's possible. And what backs that up even more is like the moment Katakuri stops using future sight, what happens? He gets hit.
Yeah, because category is fighting recklessly. He threw caution out of the window.
Okay,
Do
you could
disagree? Do
say that
disagree?
you could say that yes, but it doesn't change the fact that Luffy's still hitting him, man. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like if Katakuri was actually had faster reaction speed, then every attack he threw would hit Luffy. And Katakuri has a line of dialogue about it. He's like, fighting you is stressful. I've never had someone avoid so many of my attacks.
Yeah, but you're ignoring that category specifically said, I'm faster than you and I'm stronger than you.
I'm not.
That.
I'm not ignoring that. I'm saying his travel speed is faster than Luffy. Like if he's running somewhere, he'll get there first. But in terms of reaction speed, it seems Luffy's faster.
Yeah, there's no evidence.
No, there's plenty. Like the evidence are the two things I just said. The fact that he's look. But anyway, Cosmic, that's the whole 5 minutes. Did you have any? Yo, one at a time. Whoa, Kobe, you're like cutting in here, bro. Yeah, Cosmic, do you have any last points you want to share? Because that was the whole 5 minutes.
About Zoro. Luffy, Kaido was able to land against. Base Kaido was able to land against Luffy using future sight, and Zoro outsped Kaido in hybrid form. So why wouldn't Zoro be able to land against Luffy?
Okay, here's a couple things. For one, the gap, the Luffy you're talking about, that was base form Rio Luffy. Base form Rio Luffy versus Kaido. The gap between, like, I could make an argument that even right now, Luffy with advanced Conqueror's Haki, who's massively stronger, is still weaker than Kaido.
Yes, he's massively stronger because he got more powerful.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. It's just me and Cosmic talking right now. Wait, hold up. All right. I had to mute Kobe real quick. So, Cosmic, let me make my whole point real quick. So what I'm saying is the Luffy that got hit while he was using future sight, he didn't even get hit directly. He got grazed by Kaido's attack. Kaido straight up says like it didn't even hit him dead on. That's one thing. The other thing is that was base form Rio Luffy compared to Kaido. I can make an argument that here, let me make my full point, please. I can make the argument that even Luffy and Elbaf right now, who's massively with advanced Conqueror's Haki, even if he's using Gear 4, he's just like massively stronger than base form Rio Luffy. Okay, and I can make an argument that he's still a little weaker than Kaido. So you're comparing someone, base form Rio Luffy, to Kaido, someone who's just massively above him. That's why Kaido could hit him. So like, can you prove that Zoro is massively above advanced conquerors hockey Luffy? Can you prove it's the same gap that like base Rio Luffy and Kaido had? I don't think you can.
Yeah, but we're talking about speed, not strength. Luffy got massively stronger because he got advanced conquerors, and he just grew stronger. But we're talking about speed.
So wait, what is your point exactly? You don't think Luffy got any faster with the advanced conquerors hockey?
There's no evidence that advanced conquerors make you faster. But even if I grant you that Luffy got faster, Zoro did as well.
Okay. Let me word it like this. What proof do you have that so you'll admit that the gap between base form Rio Luffy and Kaido is giant, right? That's a giant.
In terms of strength, yeah.
I would say all around, actually.
There's no, in terms of speed, there's no evidence that he got massively faster. Only in terms of strength and power.
No, the evidence is that he's reacting to everything Kaido's doing. Meanwhile, we don't even know if Luffy was using Future Sight the whole time. Meanwhile, start of the rooftop, Luffy was using Future Sight and still getting clipped. So there is proof that he got faster too. Let me make my whole point. We agree that the gap between base form Rio Luffy and Kaido is massive. Can you prove?
What did you say?
Here, let me just make my whole point first before you reply. What I'm saying is we both. Here, man, let me make my point, please. What I'm saying is we both agree that the gap between base form Rio Luffy and Kaido is massive. Can you prove that the gap between advanced conquerors hockey Gear 2 Luffy and Zoro is that same size?
Listen, Luffy got hit by base Kaido, and Kaido got out. A stronger Kaido, hybrid from Kaido, got outsped by Zoro. Now we can argue that the Luffy that we're talking about is massively stronger because he got advanced conquerors, but massively faster. No, I can grant that he got faster, but Zoro definitively got faster as well.
When does Zoro ever outspeed Kaido?
In hybrid form.
When? What exact feat are you talking about?
Asura. Kaido clashed with Zoro and then landed attack.
How is that outspeeding him?
Because Kaido couldn't react.
Zoro
landed his attack.
If Kaido couldn't react to him, why does Kaido afterwards say the only one who went toe-to-toe with him was Luffy? He doesn't even consider Zoro strong enough to go toe-to-toe with him, let alone surpass him in anything.
Because Luffy is much stronger. That's why you can go toe-to-toe with him. Speed alone isn't gonna able to make you go toe-to-toe with Kaido. You need to have power.
Then why does Kaido never even say that? Why does Kaido never say, "Oh man, he speed blitzed me. Oh man, I couldn't dodge it. Oh man, it was." There's zero dialogue saying that.
We saw it. He doesn't have to say that. We saw it.
That wasn't him speed blitzing him. They had like he went into Ashura. Like here's what I would say happened. Zoro went into Ashura. Kaido's barely trying. He parries away unnamed attacks from Kaido, and then hits him with Ashura. That has nothing to do with him being faster than Kaido. That's legit Kaido not looking down on him so much that he's not even using named attacks on him and getting hit for it. That's not.
Yeah,
that has nothing.
That hybrid Kaido is much stronger than base Kaido that landed attack on Luffy, and the fact that Zoro was able to land his attack, he did his job.
That like it just has nothing to do with speed though. It's like I would just make the argument that there's literally nothing supporting the idea that he's speed blitzing Kaido. If anything, like
he did. Kaido and Zoro clashed, and Zoro landed his attack. Kaido couldn't stop it.
Speed. Okay, I think you're misunderstanding what speed blitzing means. Speed blitzing means the character is moving so fast you can't dodge it. It doesn't mean you get hit by them.
Yeah, Kaido couldn't dodge it.
That is a very. You're gonna need some strong evidence to say that. When he's not even using future sight. He's not even using future sight. Like, not even taking him seriously. He doesn't even consider Zoro strong enough to go toe to toe with him.
Yeah, Kaido wasn't using future sight all the time against Luffy either. Was he not going all out?
No. That has. Okay, you're like just repeating what I'm saying, but it's not debunking what I'm saying. What I'm saying is.
Yeah,
hold on.
It is.
Hold on, Cosmic.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you have to prove that Zoro was so fast Kaido couldn't dodge him. There's really nothing that proves that.
What evidence is there that Kaido didn't want to dodge it?
The fact that like immediately afterwards, he straight up says the only one who went toe to toe with him was Luffy, and then he says like it's a sign that I've accepted you, Luffy. That means he didn't even accept Zoro. He like barely cared about him, and we see throughout the whole. And hold on, Cosmic, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
We also see throughout the whole fight like Kaido holds back a lot. He holds back a lot, bro. That's like a big part of his character. So
yeah,
and
going toe to toe doesn't mean it's just speed. It's also power.
okay, but what does that look like when people do something impressive? Kaido pretty much straight up says it. He never once says Zoro. If Zoro really was faster than Kaido, Kaido probably would have said something, bro. He doesn't say that. Like
that's not. We saw it happen. That's not a point.
No,
and
bro.
And about Kaido saying you were the only one who was able to go toe to toe. That's not only talking about speed. He's also talking about power.
Okay, Cosmic. Let me just explain to you how this argument sounds from my perspective, right? You're legit saying just because Zoro hit Kaido, he speed blitzed him. By that same logic, Killer also hits Kaido. Is Killer speed blitzing Kaido too? Let's just talk about that. What's the difference?
Kaido and Zoro was 1v1.
What is the difference? Wait, hold on.
And Killer landed attack against Kaido, who was in dragon form, not hybrid.
Okay, hold on a second. So you think that Killer like can speed blitz Kaido as long as he's in dragon form? Is that what you're saying then? Like, because it sounds like you think if you can hit someone, you're speed blitzing them.
Well, not necessarily, because Kaido and Zoro, hybrid Kaido and Zoro was 1v1. Killer versus Dragon. Killer landing attack against Dragon, it wasn't 1v1.
How does that change anything? Like,
because
by your logic, he's still speed blitzing him. By your logic.
Because 1v1 is just Kaido and Zoro. With Killer and Kaido, Kaido has to worry about other things as well.
Okay, well, we also see Kaido dodges Zoro's like Dragon Flame Blaze attack, like that really strong attack you guys like to hype up. So does that mean Killer's faster than that? That was a 1v1, so is Killer faster than that attack now?
Wait, what was 1v1?
There's this scene where Zoro's charging up this sword slash, and like you guys like to hype this scene up, where like Big Mom tells Kaido to dodge it, and he dodges it. Are you saying that Killer is faster than that?
No.
Why? I mean, Zoro dodges that, but Killer.
Yeah, you can argue that. Because Zoro was charging up, whereas Killer just.
All right, I'll actually see if I can pull up these scenes you're talking about here, where Killer slashes Kaido. Was it chapter 1001?
I think it was later.
Well, it just sounds, because it seems like your whole argument is if you can hit someone, you're speed blitzing them. That's not.
No. Killer was able to land the attack because it was a group fight. Zoro and Kaido was 1v1. You're not addressing that.
But it's just like I don't really see how that matters. Like, because a lot of it they were just attacking him one at a time. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, but Kaido is worried about the group compared to Zoro, who was alone.
So, he first off, he wasn't worried about anyone because they were all massively weaker than him. But I have the panel on screen here. Killer's the only one attacking him during this scene. No one else is like hitting him.
Yeah, and Kaido is in his dragon form. Base Kaido is much, not base, hybrid Kaido is much faster.
So you're saying from like, let me just make sure I'm understanding you. You think that Killer can speed blitz dragon form Kaido is what you're saying?
Not necessarily because
Well, I
that
mean,
was a group fight.
he's no. In this scene right here, only Killer's. No one else is attacking Kaido. It's,
Wait, go before that. Go before that.
Law had just hit him, but right after
Yeah,
that, right after that,
yeah,
Kaido.
hit him.
Okay, but right after that, Kaido has a bit of dialogue. No one's attacking him for this entire page. Then it's just Killer. This is just Killer attacking him.
Yeah, I think Killer is faster than Dragon Kaido. Dragon Form Kaido.
All right, man. Well, thank you for sharing your points. I'm gonna go on to the next person here. But thank you for sharing your points. So who would like to go next?
Hey, can I talk?
Yeah, I know. Feel free to go ahead, bro. Can Zoro hit Future Sight Luffy?
I don't think so, and I don't think it's close. I think one observation I've made that really seems pertinent here is like Luffy is now compared to Sanji and Zoro what like Kaido is to like King and Queen. Like they're basically nothing to him. Like if they both jump him, it's not even going to be hard at all. Like he's so much better than them now. Because already like in base, he was better than them just with Conquerors, like in base. And then he has Gear 5. So, I mean, even if we're just talking about base, Zoro doesn't even seemingly have Future Sight. And Luffy would already be like relative to him in speed. So there's just no way he would hit him. Like Zoro is actually trash compared to Luffy right now.
Dude, I honestly, I agree, bro. Whoa, what was all that? I mean, I agree, man. I think that it's not close either. That's part of why I wanted to make this stream, because it's like, based on the feats, I don't even know if it's possible for Zoro to even hit Gear 2 Luffy. That's really why I wanted to make this. I just wanted to see if it's even possible to debate that he can. And it seems like the only way it's possible is if you do what I was saying earlier, if you use like the highest highball interpretations for like a string of Zoro feats, put them all together, and you're like, all right, maybe he can tag lowball Luffy. But it's like, I don't know, like if we're using lowballs for everybody, I don't think it's even possible to say Zoro can even hit him. But I want to see if anyone can prove me wrong on that. But is there anything else you wanted to say, Anno?
I guess I just wanted to say I feel like people have always kind of overrated Zoro just from what I've seen, because it's like people have consistently, it seems like, said, oh, Luffy is like relative to Zoro, not like relative, like I'm pretty sure everyone still agrees usually that he'd win, but like they think like it's close. I don't think it was close ever since he got Gear 2. I think ever since he got Gear 2, it's like, okay, he's like Super Saiyan Goku and they're like, you know, Krillin or something. Not that bad, but like they're like Piccolo, you know?
I don't know if it's that big of a gap, but like that's funny. But no, I hear what you're saying, man.
Jesus, that's a
I don't think it's that big of a
crazy
gap.
downplay. That is a crazy downplay. I can never accept that. Well,
Super
sorry.
Saiyan Goku to Krillin is wild. But
Shit, bro.
is there anything else you wanted to say, Anno, before we go to the next person?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say, I feel like you got to be a little more strict with the time thing, you know, just like hold to it.
I'm sorry,
Don't let
bro.
People like go on, you know.
I will be. Cause like, I don't know. I also just like have fun having the debate, and then I just let it go. Especially like if someone seems like they have multiple points, and they're not like conceding on them right away. I like to hear where they'll go with it. So then I let it go a little longer. But you're right. I think I'll stick to like 10 minutes max. I'll try that for the next ones. Okay. So, but like 5 minutes should be the goal. But if someone's like in a roll, then I'll make it stick to maybe 10 or so. But All right. So who would like to go next?
I want to try to say something.
Was that hold on. Who said that?
It's like
Light. Okay,
the
yeah.
guy with the yellow.
What's up, Light? And then
I did want to say some things about Cosmic's points a little bit. I do believe that like Zoro is not hitting Luffy like at all. Like, let's be real. The Katakuri stuff is like a good indicator. They were relative in stats. Straight up. Once Luffy got Future Sight, they were basically like what's it called? Zoro and Luffy are relative, right? The Kaido stuff, I see what he's saying, but you're saying base Ryo Luffy getting tagged by base Kaido versus strongest Zoro attack against Kaido. Like, what, bro? That doesn't really make sense.
That's strength, not speed. We're talking about attacks, not speed. You're talking about specifically attacks, not speed.
Okay, I'm saying it sure is gonna be faster than base Ryo Luffy. Like,
That's my whole point. We're talking about Zoro speed.
but we're talking about advanced conqueror hockeys.
Yeah, that's strength. That's strength, not speed.
Is it?
I mean, I can make an argument that it also augments speed. To be completely honest, I think it does because like Luffy's keeping up with Kaido the entire. I think Luffy's keeping up with Kaido the whole fight, like to the point where Kaido's saying he's going toe to toe with him now. So I mean, I would argue that it's also speed because if it wasn't speed as well, then like think about it like this, okay? If Kaido was so fast that he could hit Luffy even while Luffy's using Future Sight, Luffy goes from that speed to a couple chapters later just straight up clashing with him, splitting the sky with him, doing all this crazy stuff. It seems like speed increased too.
Luffy was always landing against Kaido.
I'm gonna make this real easy. Yo, can we talk about how as soon as Luffy got what's it called, advanced conquerors, he speed blitzed Kaido instantaneously?
Yeah.
And
I swear to God, I wanted to say that this whole time.
Luffy did that. Luffy did it before that.
What?
Luffy did it before that with Red Rock.
No, that was law.
against a less strong Kaido, let's be real, bro.
Okay.
That was law. That was law, but yeah. Just
Well-
wanted to say that.
Well, yeah, let's like
Didn't want to.
let's streamline this a bit. So light like you. It sounds like you were agreeing though. You think that that Zoro can't hit Luffy actually, right?
Nope.
Yes, I agree. I agree that Zoro cannot hit Luffy. I agree that Zoro cannot hit Luffy.
Okay.
Straight up.
And here's the thing. You can make the case that Luffy got faster. That's not a problem. But Zoro got faster as well.
Okay,
But like
so what's your point?
to this, I mean, like here's the thing that I think like it's getting missed from the equation. The only time we see Luffy get hit by, like while he's confirmed in Future Sight is by someone who's like massively gapping him. Like Kaido was massively above him. It was base form Rio Luffy versus Kaido. That's a huge gap. So it's like unless you can prove Zoro has that same gap, I don't really think it makes sense to say he can magically hit Luffy. And it doesn't really seem like it's even possible to prove that, to be honest with you.
I said that Zoro landed attacks against stronger Kaido, but you guys discredited that. I don't know why.
But it's just because it doesn't really like it just doesn't really. Sorry.
Huh?
Wait, what? You guys go. What were you saying?
Go ahead, Leo. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying is just because he hits Kaido, it doesn't really mean much. Like almost everyone on the rooftop hit Kaido.
They squared up, and Zoro landed his attack. Kaido.
What scene are you talking about?
He's talking about when Zoro did Ashura, he hits Kaido with it, and he's saying because he hit Kaido, he speed blitzed Kaido. But I'm like, that's not what speed blitz means though. So I think, yeah. But okay, like,
Kaido does it.
Okay, hold on. I still have to say. I want to ask. Wait. So was it base Rio Luffy that got hit by Kaido, or base Kaido?
Yeah.
And we're talking about Then we're talking about Zoro in a stronger form versus Kaido in a stronger form. Bro, put Luffy in Gear 4th against Gear 4th Rio Luffy against what? Kaido. He's not getting hit like he was. Like what?
Well, I think we're just getting kind of.
Zoro's strongest form at the time. Let's talk about Luffy's strongest form at the time.
Look, let's here. Let me streamline this. Hold up. Everyone, hold up. Cosmic, hold up. Let me just streamline this. Let's go to the next person because I mean I already discussed this with Cosmic. I think that there's a misunderstanding between.
Kobe really wanted to say something.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, Kobe wanted to say something for like a couple minutes. I'm not even gonna like.
Okay, here.
A couple minutes.
We'll let Kobe go next. But just before Kobe goes, I just want to say, like, I think there might be a misunderstanding between what speed blitz means. Speed blitz means you're moving so fast that the person cannot dodge you. It doesn't mean that you were hit by somebody. Those are two different things. Speed blitz means this person you're fighting is going so fast that I'm doing my absolute best I can't dodge them. A good example of a speed blitz is what Sanji did to Queen. Sanji was moving so fast, Queen could not see him and was just getting tagged. That's a completely different thing than what happened with Kaido, who doesn't even consider Zoro a challenge. Doesn't consider him a worthy challenge. Like taking damage from him. Those are completely different things. But let's let Kobe go next, and then here, Kobe, I'll give you your 5 minutes. What would you like to say, man?
Okay, so how do I start this? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Oh, okay. See, I just wanted to have a better understanding. When you say can Zoro hit Luffy using Future Sight, do you mean like in his base? I just need a better definition of what you mean. Like, can he hit Luffy using Future Sight?
Well, so first let's start with gear. Like, let's say you have Gear 2 Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy, and he's using Future Sight. Can Zoro hit him? Let's start with that.
Okay. Yes, Zoro can hit him. Okay. I think the only way Zoro couldn't hit Luffy is if he's using Gear 5th. That's the only way.
Well,
if he's using Gear 4th, can he beat him? No. But can he hit him? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear like what is making you say that? What backs that up?
Okay, so this is what backs it up in my opinion. So I know like a lot of people are talking about Wano, but we also see in what is it, Egghead? Mm-hmm. They both fought Lucci. Mm-hmm. So Lucci was able to attack Luffy, right? I mean, I'm not saying he damaged him. I'm not saying he beat him or anything like that. But he was able to attack him. So if Lucci can attack him, then of course Zoro can. Because Zoro matches awaken Lucci's speed. So, in my opinion, unless Luffy is using Gear 5th, which of course will give him more speed, in my opinion, Zoro should definitely be able to attack him in Gear 4th. We seen an Egghead that they, when they was fighting the pacifistas, it kind of showed them like, moving at the same speed. So it's basically just saying that they're relative speed-wise. And we also know that Future Sight can be blitzed.
Okay, so just a couple... Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Wait, you were still saying something?
Yeah, well, the other last thing is, like, we know that Zoro has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. So once we know that Zoro has that, like, in order for me to feel like Luffy would have a significant speed advantage on Zoro, he would have to be using Gear 5th. That doesn't line up. I think it lines up to me and my logic.
So here's the thing. Like, we know that when Luffy was fighting Lucci, he was holding back massively. Like, Lucci himself even says that. Like, with the final attack Luffy hits Lucci with, he's like, I don't even understand, like, how is he getting so much power? Like, that's showing you that Luffy wasn't trying in the beginning, and like near the end, he's just trying a little bit more. And we don't even, another thing, we don't even know if Luffy used Advanced Conqueror's Haki that whole fight. And another thing is we don't know if Luffy even used Future Sight that whole fight.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing with Future Sight. You can't have it both ways. You can't just say, oh, well, in this moment he'll use Future Sight, but then in this moment he wouldn't. Like, you got to kind of have, like, a balance to it. Like, if you're giving him Future Sight, then it would be fair to assume that he's using that most of the time. Well, like, why wouldn't he? Why would he nerf himself against somebody that's relative to him? You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why he would, because Luffy, like, shows that he does that all the time. Like, so in that one fight, the fact that Luffy's using more power at the end of the fight than he was at the start of the fight, it's showing you that, like, he's not going all out right from the beginning. That's one thing. Another thing, he never even says he's using Future Sight. Like, every time we've known that Luffy was using Future Sight, he, like, word for word says he's using it. Like, when he got hit by Kaido, he has a line of dialogue. He's like, oh, man, I was seeing the future and everything. And then he says that. Another time...
Still couldn't dodge it.
Right. And another time we see him using Future Sight, he's, like, out loud saying, this guy's going to do this next. And then he dodges it. He's going to do this next. Like, each time that we've known Luffy's using Future Sight, he, like, makes it known to us, okay? So if you want to just assume Luffy's using Future Sight on someone that he's showing us he's holding back against, then I consider that a highball. Because it's like, you can't, it's like, you're just assuming that he's using it. There's nothing proving.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's, like, a fair point.
Like,
but then on the same token, you can assume that he's not. You can say, well, Lucci clashed with him here, but he wasn't using Future Sight. But then when he started blitzing him and things of that nature, now he is using his Future Sight. So it's kind of like, we know he can use it. So I feel like if you're in a fight with somebody and they're, like, relative to you in the beginning, and then you up your power, now you can speed blitz them. That kind of means that, you know, you had to do that. You had to, you had to increase your power. Even if you're just playing around, you still would say to yourself, oh, well, I can't play around unless I up my power a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, here's
like, when do you give him the credit for using the Future Sight? You understand what I'm saying? Is it only when he's doing something good, or is it all the time?
Here's the thing.
Like, hard to say.
Here's the thing. Like, here's how I would view it, right? Like, if let's say that I was making a video talking about Luffy fighting somebody. I'm not going to say he's using Future Sight unless Luffy, like, proves it. Unless he, like, word for word says that he's using it. If I say Luffy's using Future Sight just because I feel like he's using it, that's a highball. That's, like, I highball. Because you're, like, assuming Luffy's using more power with no proof. So that's a highball. Because, like, the reason why that's a highball is because Lucci does not have any feats on on Luffy's level. Like, even Luffy's feats, like, here I'll pull this up one more time. Hold up. Even Luffy's feats in just Gear 3 are genuinely more impressive than anything Lucci's shown. Like, I have on screen right now, there's this scene where Kaido's doing a, like, Thunder Bagua Gatling version, and Luffy clashes with that in Gear 3. I don't think there's anything Lucci's ever displayed that's on par with an attack like that. So it's like, there's a lot of evidence that just shows Luffy's holding back against Lucci. So to just assume...
Okay, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing.
Because I feel like Luffy didn't have an advantage on Lucci until he used Gear 5th. It was the same thing with Kizaru. Like, when Luffy was in Gear 4th, Kizaru could kind of blitz him, could kind of tag him, could kind of push him back. But then when he went in Gear 5th, now he's weaving everything. Well, that's telling me that he's not as fast in Gear 4th as he is in Gear 5th.
I think
so in my mind, I'm like, well, if Lucci can keep up with Gear 5th, if Kizaru can keep up with Gear 4th, and Kizaru can almost have an advantage on Gear 4th. And I know that Zoro is at least in their realm. Then it's fair to say, in order for Luffy to be in a position where Zoro can't hit him, he has to be in Gear 5th.
Well, I think hold on, hey Kobe, hold on a second. I think you're mixing up the anime with the manga, because in the manga, Luffy doesn't fight Lucci in base form at all. It just starts out in Gear 5.
Well, I am mainly talking about the anime.
You see, that's a problem, because like the anime adds stuff all the time that's just not the manga. So like when you're doing a debate,
Right.
I highly recommend don't even talk about the anime, because they add stuff all the time. They like undersell feats all the time, oversell feats all the time. They literally cut Sanji out of certain moments. Like the anime is almost non-canon at this point. So like,
I was going to ask you that. So do you consider it to be his own verse? So basically, if I want to talk about that, I should say, well, could we discuss it from the anime's point of view?
right? Like then, the anime has like.
I still think there's validity to what they show. I mean, it's not the manga, of course, but
Well, here's the thing. Like the anime, they straight up like have their own like interpretations and their own agenda. Like I'm talking about Oda's work. I'm not talking about what the animation studio decided. Because like for example, the animation studio, they just straight up have their own intentions with things. Like one of the art directors, I think his name is Vincent Chansard, he has a line of dialogue where he's like, yeah, my director told me Luffy's not even trying against Kizaru. Now, Oda never says that, but the animators, they want to depict Luffy as massively stronger than Kizaru. So it's like that. It's pretty much its own verse.
I could talk about the manga. So let me ask you this: right now in the manga, you know they in Elbaf or whatever.
And real quick, Kobe. Quick, hold up, Kobe. 1 second. Hold up. That's been 10 minutes. Just go ahead and make one more point, and then we'll go to the next guy. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to make this last point, then I'll fall back and listen. The last thing I wanted to say is like right now in the manga, the like most recent chapters, like we know that Zoro has the Conqueror Haki to the point where he's just leaking it now. So I mean, with that being said, I think it's fair to say like that Zoro right now, if you want to tell me that he can't hit Luffy just because Luffy is using future sight, like without Gear 5th, I think that would be debatable. Now, if he uses Gear 5th, I feel like, I haven't seen anything able to really do too much to Gear 5th other than Kaido. So, like, if in that sense, is like, once he goes Gear 5th, I think he's more in the realm of what you're talking about. Like, nobody could hit him, or at least Zoro couldn't right now. So that's my last point.
Okay, and I would just say the reason I'm saying Zoro can't hit him is because we saw with Luffy versus Katakuri. Luffy versus Katakuri fought 11 hours. Luffy couldn't hit him a single time while Katakuri used Future Sight. And I could make an argument that Luffy was a little faster than Katakuri. Now, first off, I'll just say, even trying to say that Zoro's a little faster than Gear 2nd Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy, I'm gonna just be honest with you guys, that's almost impossible to prove. It's literally, you literally have to highball Zoro massively to say that. So that's one thing. But even if you said that Zoro was equal stats to Gear 2nd Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy, if you say that, Luffy can't be hit by him in Future Sight. That's what Luffy versus Katakuri showed us. So, but okay. So who would like to go next?
If anyone doesn't mind, I could go next.
Okay. Yeah. Was that Ashura?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. Yeah. And I have been letting these go a little bit long. I'm gonna try and keep this one to 7 minutes. So like, if it gets to like the 5-minute mark, I'll like let you know. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. So I do think Zoro can tag him, but it has to be like under like extreme circumstances. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, almost all of Wano Country arc, with Peace and his feats against Kaido, he's been consistently punching it like above his weight class, and he's using stats that he has no business using. Like he tanked an attack from Big Mom and Kaido, the Conquest of the Sea, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tanked it for like a second before a law, told teleported them all out of there. And like it broke all his bones, but then like after that, his next feat was using Ashura against Kaido, and he didn't blitz him. Like I'm just like say that like I saw the manga panel and like Kaido had like the exclamation mark and he's like, oh, he's gonna attack me, and then like Zoro straight up says like, hey, you're gonna have to heal me, Law, because I'm about to like use the limit of my ability, and I'm like, bro, you're kind of lying. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of lying, and like he just straight up just cuts him, and like Kaido consistently is like testing these guys, and so like the reason why I bring that up is that he's constantly using Enma, and Enma is basically like a slash like training wheel slash crutch. And without Enma, he would pretty much be useless in all these like circumstances, and he wouldn't be able to really do much of anything really. Like it wouldn't be drawing out his hockey so much that he would like start using Supreme King hockey or anything like that. And like it kind of makes him a fraud. It kind of doesn't, because it's like you would want to ask him like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you really trying to bring out your best? And so that's my point, is that he's just constantly pushing above his weight class. And so, and then, after he faints, like, Kaido asks him if he could use the, color of the Supreme King and shit. And as we know, Conqueror's Haki, like, gives you, like, a stat increase. I don't know the number, but it just does. And Luffy just shows us that he can now, like, throw hands with Kaido, because he's starting to use Conqueror's, like, enhancement. And so that's point number one. It's a long point, but I'm gonna get to the second point. Second point is that observation hockey has been shown to not really scale to your reaction speed, especially if you're not prepared for it, like we saw in the Amazon Lily arc. And that's like his like only possibility to actually tag Luffy, who's using observation. Like if Luffy was like pissed off at Zoro like on Whiskey Peak or some shit, and he just punches him dead in the skull with like a red rock, and Zoro's like, all right, bet, you think you can just bully me? I genuinely think that if he tried his best, he can actually tag him in base. Like, that's what I'm leading up to.
Okay, so you think that like Zoro going all out would be able to like outspeed base form Luffy to the same way that Kaido outsped Future Sight Luffy at the start of the fight? You think like the gap would be that big that he could do that to base Luffy?
I think that it would be a surprise to him because he wouldn't expect it.
Okay, I mean so I personally disagree. I appreciate you sharing your points. I just personally disagree because I just don't know, like, I mean, I really wanted to have this discussion because I wanted to see if there's any way people can prove that Zoro actually is on that tier of speed, like, that Zoro's actually massively faster than Advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy in Gear 2nd was really what I wanted to see. But I'm just going to be honest, I'm not really seeing it without, like, a bunch of highballs. Because, like, it's, what I was saying at the start of the stream was, like, for people to even have this debate on Zoro's side, you have to highball Zoro a lot. You have to say stuff like Luffy was going all out against Lucci. And then you have to say like Zoro was holding back against Lucci. And you have to assume Luffy's using Future Sight against Lucci. And you have to assume all these are all like highballs. It's like it's multiple highball back to back. You have to assume Zoro could speed blitz Kaido. It's like highball after highball after highball after highball, all to say, oh yeah, he could maybe hit Gear 2 Luffy or something. I'm like, I don't know, man. So.
Well, the problem is that narratively speaking, which is like this is just a blatant fact, but like Oda has been. And
it's been
Zoro
5 minutes.
Into potential, man. Yeah. Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5. Yep. Mm-hmm. What were you saying?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be like my last point. But Oda has been turning Zoro into like potential man for like the past 2 arcs, and like you could. I mean, like it's not crazy to say that if Wano I'm sorry, if Ruth Peace Sanji, after he beat Queen, were to fight Zoro without Enma, Sanji would then would definitively win. Like that's just not a crazy thing to say. And that's just to say that he's not at his best. And I'm not saying that he's like hiding stats or anything, or he's like holding back. Like he just can't keep up without really going through his own like training arc. And that's what we've consistently seen, like if you pay attention to the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting point, man. Yeah, I mean, Zoro versus Sanji is kind of its own debate, but those are interesting points for sure. So, thank you for sharing your points, man. I appreciate it. Let's see, who would like to go next here? I think we can do two last people. Did everyone go? I think, or no? There's like 2, 3, 4. There's like 4 people who haven't shared, right? Yeah, let's try and just keep these to 5 minutes, I guess. Who would the next one be?
Yeah, I wanna go.
Who is that?
Antares.
Antares? Okay. Yeah, let's do 5 minutes, Antares. How does Zoro hit Luffy? Can Zoro hit Luffy in future sight?
Yeah, first of all, I think that this Luffy is much stronger than Zoro, but I will argue for Zoro's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zoro was much weaker during his Ashura encounter with Kaido. But he overpowered Kaido with Ashura, and then he outpaced him. It's not a blitz, but it's outpacing. And then he got much stronger in this fight with versus King. And that's the advanced conqueror's Haki amp, the amp that Luffy got after he got advanced conquerors.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hunter. It's just a bit hard to. It's a bit hard to hear you, man.
I think that's my mic right now. I can't change it. If it's not clear, then I will not talk.
Oh no, it's okay. Because I wanted to hear what you were saying. I think you were saying that Zoro got a lot stronger than he was on the rooftop. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, versus King, because he got advanced conquerors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like.
And he was much weaker. He had 30 broken bones. He was significantly nerfed versus Kaido.
Yeah, I just don't see how that puts him above the things that like Luffy's performed, though.
Do you think this Luffy is this Kaido can't hit this Luffy?
Do I think base Kaido can take base Luffy? Is that what you were saying?
Can't hit this Luffy.
Can hit base Luffy?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because they were like, well, maybe. I mean, that's more the debatable thing. That's hard to say, honestly. But how does that scale to Zoro?
Yeah, Zoro is much faster than Big Mom, who fought this Kaido for 3 days. He outpaced her and Blizzard 4 times during the rooftop. And if you said this Kaido can hit Luffy, I would have said that.
Oh, I see. You're saying like Zoro's faster than Big Mom, and Big Mom fought base Kaido, and you're saying base Kaido can hit Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It is just hard to tell, though, because like we saw Luffy was fighting man beast form Kaido, so it's kind of hard to say like how would base Kaido do against like the current Luffy. That is hard to say. I'm not exactly sure how that would go. But okay, Hunter, thank you for sharing your points, bro. I appreciate that. We'll just make these last ones a bit faster. Who would like to go next? Kingdom, did you want to go?
I was thinking, because realistically speaking, I believe there's no way Zoro would hit Luffy, but I was thinking just if I could make a case for Zoro, since no one else was. Let me see. What do you think about Yamato's scaling in comparison to King?
I mean, Yamato, like, in comparison to King, I don't know. Like, Yamato and King are really close. I don't actually know who's stronger between those two. It honestly might be Yamato. It's hard to tell, though.
Would you say they're at least relative, like in terms of performance?
Yeah, I'd say they're probably relative. But, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to be honest. It's hard to tell, like, exactly how strong King would be to Yamato. Yamato might be, like, a good amount above King or a good amount below. I really wouldn't know, to be honest.
Because from my scale, just how my scale would be able to say like Yamato, Luffy from chapter 1010, and Zoro, King of Hell are like relative, which would make King also like relative to those characters. You can argue since chapter 1010 Luffy was able to somewhat outspeed a suppressed hybrid Kaido, because at the end of the day, these are all just variations of hybrid Kaido just slowly releasing more and more of his like power, as we see through the stages with Gear 4, Gear 5. It's still the same hybrid Kaido. He's still blitzing and outpacing Luffy at certain points in the fight. So it's safe to say like throughout the whole encounter, Onigashima when he's holding back. But yeah, you could just try to argue, I guess, through the Haki Blooms versus King, as well as being able to refine his Conqueror's Haki a bit more, which Luffy also did through his fight with Kaido. But you could still argue they're in a similar ballpark, especially in base, maybe. If you try to include narrative along with it as well. It's tough. It's tough to say. I'd like to think current Zoro would be able to do just about as good as chapter 1010 Luffy, arguably. Maybe a little bit better. So maybe he could tag him, but that's a big maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell, right? Like I could just as easily say Yamato is like considerably above King, so like everything Yamato does is not something King is capable of doing. I could just say that. We do see Yamato like stalemate Kaido 1v1 for a while. I don't know if King can do that. He might just get one shot. Like, if he's not in his flame mode, he might legit just get one shot. So, I don't know. There's also something to consider that, like, Big Mom, while massively suppressed, beat Queen in 2 hits without her weapons and without her Devil Fruit, and it's like, King is not that much above Queen, you know? So, I don't really know if King is I don't really know if King's actually on Yamato's level, to be honest.
I mean, I slightly would disagree, because I hold King to the same kind of standard I would hold Marco. I think that's actually like an extreme diff high fight, and I don't think Queen is comparable to Marco. And we've seen Marco like be able to tangle with admirals like Akainu, Kizaru. He's able to intercept Big Mom. He's able to intercept Kaido as well. I just hold first mates and to a higher standard than second commanders, third commanders, and whatever else would fall underneath those categories.
But I mean,
be honest,
but it's like, I mean, this is kind of its own debate. Like how strong is King compared to Yamato is its own debate. But let's say even if we said that King is equal to Yamato, that doesn't necessarily mean that he'd be able to like hit Luffy with Future Sight. Those are different things. Just because like Luffy and Yamato can combo attacks together doesn't mean like Future Sight Luffy's being hit by someone. Those are different things. Because like we saw Katakuri was fighting someone who might have been faster than him the whole fight, and reaction speed still wasn't getting hit. So
yeah, I agree with you, but even
and that's 5 minutes.
With, like, oh, okay, no problem. So that's like 2 minutes left, or that was it.
Here, just share with like one last point, and then we'll go to the next guy.
Okay, no problem. Just wanted to point out as well, Kaido, who was still, I know this is Kaido, Kaido, who was still able to land effectively attacks on Gear 2 and Gear 3 Luffy, was also able to have attacks landed on him by Yamato. My whole point in trying to make like an argument for Zoro was that he's on like that tier of power / like stats to be able to maybe tag Luffy. Maybe. But I don't, it's a very hard maybe, like it's like a 10% chance. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
No, you're good.
Because I don't think it's close.
And like I said, it sounds like it's like a string of like highballs, to be honest, because it's like, because like you have to say like, oh yeah, if King is like as strong as Yamato is, and Yamato is like fighting Kaido, who's like fighting as strong as Luffy is, then maybe Zoro can fight Kaido, who's like, it's like you have to string so many maybes together. And I could just say, well, what if all those maybes are just wrong? Like, what if King is weaker than Yamato, and what if Kaido never tried against Yamato? And then it's just like, well, so I don't know. But that was some good points. So I think the only people who haven't shared are Ryusai and Legend. I think Legend was in here first. Was I right or wrong about that?
I think they both were in here around like a similar time frame.
Oh, really?
Legend first.
I'll go last.
Okay. So Ryusai, what points do you have?
Are we only talking about the Wano versions, or can we talk about the Egghead versions?
You can talk about the Egghead.
Yeah, because I can't argue that Wano version. There's just no way in my mind that he's keeping up with Luffy or anything in that scenario. But Egghead is a little different because you had a Zoan Lucci and a Zoan Luffy boxing relatively at first, right, until Luffy got serious and overpowered him. And then you had Zoro later on. Low key, I think he was like easily beating Lucci pretty much. So I can argue that version of, Zoro could be a second gear Luffy in that sense, because a second gear Luffy is not messing with no Zoan level, Zoan Lucci, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so like my counter to that is like Luffy has shown that he uses, like, just because he's using Gear 5 doesn't mean he's like he has to use Gear 5. Like let me see if I have this panel here. Yeah, I have this panel on screen. This is Luffy and Elbaf using Gear 5 on a random snake. So, like, I don't think this snake is a Gear 5 level opponent. I think Oda's putting this here to show us that, like, Luffy's just using Gear 5 because he just wants to use it. Like, it's fun to him. And honestly, I think the real narrative reason is, like, this is how Luffy will master the form. Him using it all the time is how Luffy will eventually master the form, and eventually he's going to start doing stuff that, like, he couldn't do with Gear 5 before. But, here's the thing. The reason why I think Luffy was holding back massively against Lucci is, like, not only does Lucci just straight up say the last attack was a lot stronger than the first one, but we see Luffy do feats in Gear 3 that I don't know if Lucci can handle, man. Like, this feat I have on screen, this is Kaido doing multiple, like a Gatling version of Thunder Bagua, and Luffy can just counter it with Gear 3. Do you think Lucci could handle this attack from Kaido?
Low key from Kaido, I don't actually know. That is a good question.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I gotta. Let me ask you a question then. Do you think that Gear 2 Luffy could, beat Lucci, or at least contend with Lucci in his own form?
Gear 2 and Gear 3 in full strength. He was so strong that Kaido says you're going toe to toe with me. I don't think Lucci, like, here's my answer to that. If you replace this Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy that fought Kaido with Lucci, you have Lucci on the rooftop just fighting Man Beast form Kaido back to back. I don't think Kaido's going to say to him, man, you're truly going toe to toe with me. So because of that, my answer is I do think Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy, if he's going all out, can beat Lucci. That's what I'm saying. And the reason I'm saying that is, like, I think Luffy was holding back massively against Lucci. Like, I lean towards saying he wasn't using Advanced Conqueror's Haki, might not have even been using Rio, and was just having fun. Just similar to the same way he fights this snake on Elbaf with Gear 5. I think it's kind of a similar thing. Like, I think he's just using it for fun because I don't see Lucci doing anything on par with, like, this Thunderbogwa Gatling thing. I don't see him doing anything to match that. So I just think there's more evidence to back up the idea that Luffy was holding back massively. I think there's more evidence for that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that part. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had something, but if I'm gonna be generally honest, like, it is crazy how Luffy really was just playing around in that Lucci fight, and then he is boxing a stronger version of Kaido in his Gear 3 and Gear 2 casually. So yeah, that is crazy.
No, yeah, and I appreciate you being honest about that, man. I appreciate that, because like that's what I'm saying. I just think like Luffy's feats in Gear 2 and Gear 3 were so crazy that it just makes me think he was holding back massively against Lucci. That's my stance on it, honestly. But
yeah, because I was for Zoro when he first cut Kaido for the first time when he was on death's door, but so was Luffy, and then Kaido proceeded to get stronger after that, and then Luffy proceeded to get up and box that stronger Kaido. So it's like, damn, you can't even argue. Yeah, it's not less to argue with that.
Yeah, because like Luffy straight up says like Kaido's hockey's getting stronger, and Luffy still like takes hits from him and just keeps boxing like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it too. But I appreciate the honesty there, bro. And that was like exactly 5 minutes too. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, bro. All right, Legend. I think you're the last one for the debate tonight. What points do you have, bro?
I see you. I'm ready. I see you keep bringing up the fact that Kaido was getting stronger towards the end of the fight. He was getting stronger. He wasn't getting faster. He was getting stronger, not faster. So that right there tells you the Zoro that went up against Kaido when he was in Ashura. I'm gonna break down to you exactly why he blitzed Kaido. Anytime in a series where we see a character get an attack off and then land on the other side of you before you can move, I think that clearly depicts somebody getting blitzed. We see Kaido parry him in Ashura, or he parried Kaido in Ashura. So that means Kaido made contact with him. So that means Kaido's paying attention. The next time he does Blades Drawn, he's on the other side of Kaido before the permascar happens. It's a clear indication of him blitzing Kaido.
So I'll pull up the panel and we can just look at it. That was 10-10. Because my stance on it is a speed blitz is you're moving so fast they cannot react to you.
Yeah, wouldn't we say being able to finish your attack on the other side of the person before they realize the damage is speed blitzing? He was on the other side of Kaido.
No, that just means he hit him.
Yeah, well, it means he physically landed on that side of Kaido before Kaido could move, because he didn't move. He just reacted to Ashura like they were just clashing. So you can't say Kaido wasn't trying to engage. He was engaging with Ashura the entire time until Blades Drawn. And then Zoro finished his attack on the opposite side of Kaido, which means it was travel distance as well. He traveled past him, got an attack off after Kaido was on guard. That's called blitzing. Perception blitzing at the very least.
No, like all it actually is he's hitting Kaido with an attack. We don't even, like, here's a bunch of things to talk about. So one, Kaido doesn't even consider Zoro like a someone who can go toe to toe with him, for one. So that's one thing. I could just say he's.
We already established that going toe to toe, you have to be able to physically move. Kaido wouldn't consider Zoro going toe to toe because he immediately collapsed. Didn't have the chance to go toe to toe due to his condition. You could put the context. Don't worry, it's okay.
Well, no, I mean, I would, if I'm being honest, that's such a high ball. Like these are actually the kind of arguments.
He couldn't move.
No. These are the kind of arguments I'm talking about, because like for you to even make points for Zoro, you have to use the highest possible interpretation. So say what you just said again. Let me hear what you just said again. Say it again.
So the highest possible interpretation is noticing the fact that he told Law he won't be able to move after the attack. And what I'm telling you is, Kaido, for someone to go toe to toe, you have to be able to move, my good sir.
Okay, so that's okay.
So it wasn't due to Zoro. So what I'm saying is, it wasn't due to Zoro's inability to go toe to toe. It was due to his body's inability to move. If you're going toe to toe with somebody, you need to be able to stand up.
So I just want to explain this to you, what I mean by highball. If I made a YouTube video and I said that as a point, I would literally word for word say the highball interpretation of this scene is that Zoro's moving so fast that Kaido could not react to him even if Kaido went all out. That's the highball interpretation. And here's the lowball. Let me explain to you the lowball. The lowball interpretation.
Argumentation from ignorance.
let me explain the low ball to you.
You can't.
What?
Go ahead.
Let me explain the low ball. The low ball interpretation of this scene is Kaido doesn't view Zoro as a threat whatsoever, so he's letting Zoro hit him. That's the low ball. What's usually true is somewhere in the middle. That's if you're making YouTube videos, that's what I recommend people do. You list the low ball, you list the high ball, and then you say the middle is somewhere in between that. But honestly, hold on.
That's argumentation from ignorance and not do it from observation. So we can argue from observation.
Legend.
Don't know. You can't make a conclusion because you say we don't know.
Hold up. Let me finish my point. What I'm saying is, if you're just using the highest highball interpretation of everything, then it's actually not close at all. Like, if I want to use the highest highball interpretation the same way you're doing it, I would say this about Luffy. Hold on, let me just tell you what I would say. Here's me using the highest highball interpretation. If the attack that broke all of Zoro's bones, it was 2 Yonko attacks combined. The attack that Luffy counters with Gear 3 is dozens to hundreds of Thunder Bagwas together. This single attack from Kaido is dozens of times stronger than the attack that broke all of Zoro's bones, and here Luffy is reacting to it casually. Then he stacks Gear 4 on top, and he becomes massively faster than Gear 3. Then Gear 5 is even faster than Gear 4. And if I'm highballing everything, Luffy's not even using Future Sight here. If he uses Future Sight, he's on a completely different tier. That's what you're doing. Is that making sense?
Not really, because the only reason I brought up the fact that the only reason I even brought up anything about that is because you were saying Zoro didn't go toe to toe with Kaido. So you're saying that he didn't go toe to toe.
No.
So I'm telling you he couldn't.
No. I'm not saying that. Kaido's saying that.
I didn't make none of the arguments you made.
Yes, because you're making.
You can't keep using. You're using that point. You're using that point, and I'm countering it by telling you to even go toe to toe. Zoro was already disqualified. He was disqualified before he even started. So that's not really a neg for Zoro because Kaido said that. Kaido could have said, "You're the first one to go toe to toe with me because the swordsman over there he collapsed after he got off his attack."
But he doesn't say that. But he doesn't say that, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying that's a logical observation that because Zoro couldn't stand back up, Kaido said you can't go toe to toe. Why didn't Zoro stand back up? That's what we're getting to. Why he didn't stand back up?
It's because
of the damage.
It's because he was too weak to survive that attack from the combined attack.
Okay.
Because you're just using highball. So I will use highball.
Well, look, let's address Gear 4. Let's address Gear 4. Do you agree that Gear 2 is faster than Gear 4?
No. Well, hold on. Why are you changing the subject? Let's stick with this one subject here. Like what you.
I feel like we're going to go in a circle with that. We can.
Well,
can you please just let me deliver this Wingstop real quick? I just got to drop this food off real quick.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I'm listening to you though. I can hear your points, but I just won't be able to talk because I'm gonna be walking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm really using low balls for Luffy this whole thing, and it seems like the only way you guys can even start debating for Zoro is if you use the high balls for everything. Like what I just said to you about Luffy, like, oh, this attack he's clashing against Kaido is dozens of times stronger than the attack that broke all of Zoro's bones. If I was arguing in the same format that you guys were arguing, I would have said that at the start. I haven't even needed to say that because all the low ball stuff for Luffy is already above the high ball stuff for Zoro. Like, it's actually just really not close, man. Because it's like, here's what you have to say. Just based off what we saw in the story, for Zoro to be able to hit Luffy, he has to be massively above Luffy in stats, but he's not.
I disagree. What I would say to that is all you need to do to beat Future Sight is outspeed it. So we see from Luffy, like you said, Luffy didn't have Future Sight when he outsped Katakuri. That wasn't reaction. That was movement speed, to be honest. So he just moved faster than Katakuri could tag him in the future. We see it with Kaido too.
But he didn't. Hold on, let's stick on that because he didn't hit Katakuri for 11 hours. That's the whole point.
Hold up, let me take a picture. Okay, but to beat Future Sight, what do you have to do? You have have to do an attack, or you have to move faster than the person seeing into the future, correct? Faster than they can see into the future.
Well, so the only time we saw someone who got hit while they were using Future Sight was base form Rio Luffy against Kaido. It was a huge gap. So it's like you have to massively gap them to be able to hit them while they're using Future Sight if you're not using it. That's the only time we've seen it happen for sure. For 100% sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really have time to prepare for this. And my last argument really hinges on something that I need you to let me know if I'm right or wrong. When Kaido blitzed Luffy using Future Sight, and he hit him over the head, and Luffy said, I was using Future Sight, and he still hit me. Was that a named attack, or was that just a casual swing from Kaido?
It was Thunder Bagua. Here, I can just pull it up. It was it was chapter.
Yeah, my only argument, my only real argument, because I don't have too many, is that all you got to do to beat Future Sight is have a named attack that's faster than the future they're seeing. And I think that Zoro has attacks that could definitely be faster than Luffy could see the future.
But what's the proof for that?
The proof for it.
Because here's the scene. Here's the scene. It's a thunder Bagua from Kaido, and then Kaido says, "You won't let the same attack hit you head on." So it grazed Luffy. It didn't even hit him directly. It just grazed him. And this is base form Luffy, who doesn't have advanced Conqueror's Haki yet, versus Kaido. It's like it's a big gap.
Well, what do you think Conquerors gives you? I don't think it gives you speed. It gives you strength.
Well, if it doesn't give you speed, then why is Luffy not getting speed blitzed anymore?
He didn't have Gear 5, correct?
Right. Well, look, like what I'm saying is we see right here, right? Kaido's so fast at the start of the fight that his Thunder Bagua is hitting Luffy even when he sees the future. Why is Luffy not getting speed blitzed anymore when he awakens Advanced Conqueror's Haki?
I mean, well, since first of all, this is no matter what we do, since they didn't state that the reason he's not getting hit no more is because of Conqueror's Haki. No matter what answer you give, it's an argumentation from ignorance. So the first thing I'm gonna say is maybe he started refining his future side a little bit more. Maybe he could see a little bit further into the future. Maybe in the beginning he couldn't see that far into the future, and Kaido made him elevate that level of future sight. And because they don't specifically state, hey, I'm not getting hit anymore because my conquerors made me faster, or Luffy didn't say, now I'm faster because I understand conquerors. So we don't have a clear answer. So whatever answer we give is technically an argumentation from ignorance because we don't have the evidence for it. Either way, we don't know what made him faster.
Well, I mean, I could make this argument. This is a bit of a weird argument, but Kizaru does say that acceleration is power. So if you think he's getting more power, then he should get faster too, based on Kizaru's statement.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to take that on. I wasn't prepared for that. I would have to trying to interpret that a little bit more because we could go down that path. But with the Zoro being able to land, so first of all, is Gear 5 Luffy included, or are you just saying Gear 4 Luffy? Gear 4 Luffy future sight, or is you taking it all the way up to Gear 5?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I've been waiting this whole stream for someone to prove to me that Gear 2 Luffy can be hit, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Okay, well, my argument for up to Gear 4 would be just the way that, because see, the thing about you is you argue that Kaido was holding back up until whenever time. I think arguing that Kaido was holding back, we don't have any real proof of that. Him saying that Luffy's going toe to toe with him means now I'm not just overpowering you. That doesn't mean you could go toe to toe with me. Now I'm unleashing more power. He could have just been meaning that now you're doing better, like you're performing better, you're dodging my attacks better, you're withstanding my hits better because your hockey's blooming. It doesn't mean Kaido was holding back. So for you to even use that as a point is an argumentation from ignorance because Kaido never said he was holding back. So I would argue that the way he handled Gear 4 Luffy and the way he bullied Gear 4 Luffy, that lead and then the way he went up against a 10 HP, 20 broken bone Zoro, the way that both Zoro performed against Hyper Kaido and all of the Gear 4 Luffy's, Gear 2 and all that performed against Kaido, I think Zoro has more credibility as far as being superior to Gear 4 because he was in such a bad state. And for you to argue that, oh, Luffy made Kaido dodge or Luffy knocked Kaido on his back. If you think about it, Luffy was never killing or beating Kaido with any of those Gear 2 punches. He was never going to do any lasting damage. You know what Zoro did to Kaido? He did lasting damage with Ashura. So what I would ask you is, how many of those Gear 2 punches would it take to kill Kaido versus how many slashes from Ashura would it take? How many perma-scars do you think Kaido could take before he would be dead? I don't think it would be too many. So you arguing Gear 2 over pre-King of Hell Zoro is kind of crazy because Zoro did way more damage than Gear 2. Yeah, he made Kaido dodge. Yeah, he might have knocked him on his back. But Kaido was never going to lose to any of those punches. None of those punches were ever going to kill Kaido.
So, like, what is your point there exactly?
Because we could surmise that if Zoro, like, I know you don't like people to bring this up, but if he wasn't in that condition, he would have been able to continue to do perma-scar damage. So how much perma-scar damage could Kaido do? Because we see when he's in Ashura, we see that he doesn't have to immediately do a named attack. He showed you that he can clash with Ashura without doing named attacks. But he told Law he wouldn't be able to do it for long. So my argument is, if he was full HP and he could repeatedly do named attacks, we could argue that Zoro could have killed Kaido if he was in a healthy state. Because he already did perma damage, and Kaido's not going to keep taking perma damage. We see from Oden, when Oden perma-scarred Kaido, he was ready to end the fight after that. It wasn't about to continue on for no long amount of time. Oden was ready to wrap that shit up. So when Zoro did Ashura, he did the same amount of damage Oden did. Fight-ending damage. The type of damage that if Kaido continues to take, he will die. That's pre-King of Hell Zoro. So he blitzed Kaido. I already told you that. You didn't really refute it. He blitzed Kaido for sure. You dropped the panel. I don't know if you still disagree with that. But him blitzing that hybrid Kaido, the only way you can downplay that is if you say Kaido was holding back. But then if you say Kaido was holding back against Luffy, he was holding back against Luffy too. So why are you giving Gear 2 Luffy feats if Kaido was holding back against him? See, you try to have your cake and eat it too. You try to say he's holding back against Zoro, but then you don't apply the same logic for him holding back against Luffy. And really, I think even saying he's holding back is arguing from ignorance because we don't even know if he was. Luffy could have just been doing better. So that's all of my points. I really have no other points outside of that.
No, that's a lot of points. I mean, that's like shotgunning a lot of points at once. What's like?
I'm sorry. I did shotgun. That's my bad.
No, it's fine. So I mean, and honestly, they were all highballs, every single one. Because I could literally just say, like, the big point that I was getting from you. You were saying, okay, Zoro, he's strong enough to scar a full power Kaido going all the way all out. He's so strong, he's scarring full power Kaido. I could just say, okay, I would say that's a high ball, and I would say the low ball, and honestly closer to realistic interpretation, is Kaido doesn't take him seriously, and he's being hit the same way he got hit by like everyone else he fought. And then
I didn't say full power. I said on guard. I said on guard, not full power.
No,
He was on guard.
You're straight up. Okay. The reason I'm saying that is because you're saying he could kill him, and you're saying that he's speed blitzing him. To speed blitz someone, you're going faster than they can move. So that means nothing if Kaido's holding back. So I mean, if you want to say, oh yeah, Zoro's speed blitzing 1% Kaido, then no one cares. You wouldn't even say it then. It's pointless. You're highballing.
Can I say something?
No, not right now. So, like, what I'm saying, bro, is, it's like, it's a bunch of highballs. But, if I just lowball him, like, I would never say that in a video. If I was talking about this in a video, I would say that that's a highball. But I would say the lowball and more likely interpretation is Kaido's not taking anyone seriously until he says that he is. Because he lets everyone hit him, bro. Like this is the 10th chapter in the fight, and Kaido literally, he fights like Saitama. He lets people hit him all the time. So, because if you just use the argument that if you're landing... Yo, hold up, bro. Hold up. I don't even know who that was. Wait, hold up. Just let me finish my point. If we're saying anyone who's hitting Kaido is speed blitzing him, do you guys realize that means Kinemon speed blitz Kaido? You guys realize that? I don't think we should use it like that. Like, just because you're hitting Kaido doesn't mean you're speed blitzing him. Unless you guys all think Kinemon is this Yonko tier fighter now.
Unless you think Kaido was on guard. That's the difference. Is when Kaido's on guard and he's clashing with you. That's the difference. Kaido was going toe-to-toe with Ashura for a brief second, which means he wasn't letting Zoro hit him. He wasn't allowing him to hit him. And then what do you call starting an attack and then ending on the other side of the person before they can even move or say anything? I call it perception blitzing.
That's not blitzing, bro. That's not blitzing. Blitzing is like what blitzing is what Sanji does to Queen. Like, he's moving so fast that Queen can't see him, can't react to him. That's a completely different thing. Almost every one of Zoro's...
So why didn't Kaido block? Why didn't Kaido block the attack then if he could see him?
Well, okay, okay, let me give you a couple ranges of options. Highball it. Listen, highballing it, it's what you're saying. It's that Zoro's moving so fast that
I didn't say that. I'm not highballing. I'm a muter.
You literally just told me that he's perception blitzing him. What perception blitzing means...
It's not highball, that's observation.
Bro, just wait for a second, please. Wait, let me explain what I'm saying. Okay? You just said that he's perception blitzing Kaido. That means he's moving so fast Kaido could not react to him. That's a high ball. The low ball would just be Kaido's not taking him serious. That's why he's being hit.
What if you could prove one and not the other? That's the difference. What if you could prove one and not the other?
Which one can you prove?
So, in the panel, well, first of all, what do you call reacting to something? What do you think reacting to something means?
Bro, I'm about to end this debate, bro. Do you have a... okay, hold up. I'm honestly about to end the debate, bro.
Does reacting mean... Look, does reacting mean that you, like, physically move when something's coming your way? Does it mean you, like, move? Do you move when you react to stuff? Or, what? Like, I'm trying to honestly get a gauge because we see Kaido doesn't move, and Zoro's already finished his attack. So, by that logic, he did not react to the attack, or he would have blocked it, because he just engaged with Zoro using Ashura. So, if he was already engaging, and then for some reason Zoro gets his attack off and he finishes it on the other side of Kaido before Kaido moves, I would say he didn't react to it. Just let me know if I'm just skipping something here.
Yes, you're literally highballing everything you're saying. Because
he did it in the panel.
Okay, man.
Kaido didn't move. What is reacting? I need to know what reacting means, because if I don't know what you define reacting as, then I think we're just talking past each other.
No, that's not the point. That's not the issue.
Okay, we could just disagree. We could just disagree. We could just disagree.
No,
I don't think you don't want to define react. I think you don't want to define reacting because it's going to make my point. Like,
no,
what do you define reacting as?
Okay, I'm just okay. So reacting to something.
I know. I know.
What?
I said I know it's frustrating, but just...
I mean, I just don't know why you're asking me to define what reacting... It's like, it means you can... Okay.
So we can know if Kaido reacted. So we can know if he reacted or not by your definition.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, man. So, reacting means, like, you're dodging, blocking, or hitting something. Like, I mean, but, okay. Whoa, hey, yo, what was that? Yo. Yo, Legend. Bro, your mic is making a horrible sound. What is that?
I'm sorry.
Can I say something now?
No, Cosmic. You went through your points already. I'm sorry, bro. This is going to be the last debate of the stream. Yeah, I don't know what just happened with Legend's mic, but what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. What I'm saying is you're literally highballing everything about Zoro to make this point. You're saying that You're saying that Zoro speed blitzed him because he hit him with an attack. If that's the case, Kinemon speed blitzed him. If that's the case, every single person who hit Kaido speed blitzed him. And it's like, that's a highball, man. Like, speed blitzing, what a speed blitz means is that even if Kaido really, really wanted to, and wanted to put his max power into it, he still would not be able to block this attack. Or he still wouldn't be able to dodge this attack. That's what speed blitz means. Like, when he's fighting Kaido, like, Zoro goes into Ashura, and we see in this panel, it's like, when I really look at it, it just looks like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Look, let me tell you the difference between a low ball and a high ball. Let me tell you the difference between a low ball and a high ball. I will explain it very clearly to you. We're gonna look at this panel by panel, and I'm gonna give you the low ball first, and I'm gonna give you the high ball first. This should very clearly explain the difference. In the manga, Zoro goes into Ashura. The next panel, we see Zoro's in his Ashura state. Kaido's looking at him. And then in the panel after that, here's the low ball, okay? I'm going to be really specific here. Kaido's standing there with his club, and Zoro just smacks the club out of the way. And then hits him with Ashura. The low ball is Kaido didn't even attack him. The low ball is Kaido just stood there, watched him go Ashura, stood there, watched him go Ashura, and just got the club smacked up. And then Zoro hits him with Ashura right after that. Kaido stood there and took it like Saitama. That's what a low ball is. A high ball is what you're... Let me finish, please. A high ball is what you're saying. That Zoro goes Ashura. Zoro is Super Saiyan Zoro. He's the strongest super duper dude ever. He's going so fast, Kaido, even if he went full freaking strength, Kaido's going 100% power. There's nothing Kaido can do. Even if Kaido wasn't carrying the island, wasn't doing anything, he's looking at this, he's like, oh, Zoro, oh, I can't believe it. Zoro, he hits him with this attack, it's so fast, he can't block it, he can't dodge it, he can't do anything, and it still hits him. That's what you guys are saying to me. And then you follow it up by saying, what does react mean? It's like, bruh, I want to end the debate, bro. It's like, you guys keep using highballs like they're normal. That's a highball. Honestly, when I look at this panel more, and the more I just think about this chapter, I legit think the low balls are more accurate, bro. Like, it looks like he's just sitting here holding the club and it gets smacked up.
I agree.
So a high ball is trying to get an understanding of what reacting is.
All right, bro, that's it for the debate. Everybody, thank you guys for sharing your points. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one, bro. Thank you. All right, chat. That's it, bro. I'm done, chat. I'm done, chat. I'm done, chat. I'm done, bro. I can't take it. All right, chat. That's enough. That's enough. All right, man. Oh, man. That's enough. And, bro, when I do debates like this sometimes... Bro, I do debates like this sometimes, and I just look over at the chat, and, like, I don't even know if the chat's paying attention to what I'm saying either. I don't even, like, sometimes I'll be doing these debates, and then I look over at the chat, and I'm like, oh, the chat is just having a completely different debate. Like, it has nothing to do with what I'm even saying. So I'm just, like, doing this debate kind of solo right now. That's how it feels sometimes. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I don't even know if the chat was listening to any of that. Let me look at the chat. I don't even know if the chat was listening to what just happened. That might have just been me who heard all that. Chad, did you guys listen to those debates? I don't even know if anyone listened to that, bro. I don't even know if anyone listened to that. I don't even know what to even say. Yeah, because yeah, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know, bro. Because like that last point I was trying to make, I think it was pretty simple to follow. Okay. I don't even know if the chat listened to what I said. I don't know if anyone listened to me. Maybe that was just me speaking to myself there, bro. Because what I was, I'll say it one more time. I'll say it one more time. I'll say it one more time. Because that last debate that I just had there, here are some of the things that the guy in the last debate was saying. And I'm not being rude to anyone. I'm just going over why I ended the debate just there. Okay. The last dude, what he was saying that this scene where Zoro goes Ashura, he was moving so fast that he perception blitzed Kaido. He's saying that this scene right here is him perception blitzing Kaido. Okay? And I said, in my response to that, here's what he said. He said, this Ashura right here, this is perception blitzing Kaido. And if Zoro was healthy, he would have been able to keep doing Ashura, and eventually Zoro would have killed Kaido. That's what he said. Here was my response. I said that is a highball interpretation of that scene. To show you the difference, here is a lowball interpretation of that scene. It's the same scene. This is just what you gave us a highball. Let me show you what a lowball is. And here's what I said. I said a lowball is that here's Zoro going into Ashura. Then the next panel, you see him. Let's go panel by panel, chat. Okay, please. I really hope you guys are paying attention here. I said we see him going to Ashura mode. Kaido notices he's in Ashura mode. This is the lowball. The lowball is that Kaido is just standing here. Kaido's just standing here with the club, and Zoro smacks the club out of the way. And then just hits him with Ashura. Kaido's just standing there like Saitama, not doing anything. And Zoro just smacks the club out of the way, and then hits him with Ashura. That's the lowest lowball interpretation. The highest highball interpretation is that Zoro is Zoro. Zoro is the Super Saiyan character that even if Kaido's going to full strength 100%, there's nothing in Kaido's power that he could do to block this, and there's nothing in Kaido's power that he could do to dodge this. That's the highball interpretation. That's what I said. And the dude followed up with saying, oh, so it's a highball for asking you what reacting is? That's the end of the stream. Okay, because it's like, at that point, you're intentionally ignoring everything I'm saying just to make up points. So, and I think, like, here's what I would say as well. If you guys remember what I said at the start of the stream, I would go ahead and say that all the stream did was prove me 100% right. Because what I said at the start of the stream is that now, for Zoro fans to debate that Zoro's even close to Luffy, the gap is so big that they have to make multiple highball interpretations back to back to back to back, string them all together, and then maybe you're on par with lowball Luffy. Wait, I was yelling? Saul, you said I'm yelling? I was yelling? I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to yell. But yeah, I would just say this entire stream just proved me 100% right. The only way people could even come close to making an argument for Zoro is if they highball multiple things back to back to back to back, put them all together, and then maybe he's on par with lowball Luffy. They can't even get, even if you highball Zoro to the max, he's still not on par with highball Luffy. Evil Grease said I wasn't yelling. Okay, that's good. I wasn't trying to. Bro. But were you guys even listening to what I said? Because, I mean, I've done these, this is the third Zoro debate. This is the last one I'm doing until Zoro gets some better feats in the manga, because it's really just a very one-sided debate. That's why I can have a whole 2-hour live stream debate on can Zoro even hit Luffy, and no one really made a convincing argument that he could. That's why. It's because the gap in stats is that big. The gap in feats is that big. That's why. And, like, the point of this isn't to insult anybody. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. I really wanted to let people get their chance to share their points. But, I can tell when someone's, like, just not listening to what I'm saying. And so, like, when it got to that point, I'm like, all right, there's no point in continuing the debate. Like, you're not listening to the words I'm saying. You're just making things up at this point, just to keep the debate going longer. If you're listening to what I'm saying, you'll be able to say things like, oh, okay, I see the difference between a low and a high ball. Because I think I made it pretty clear. And I was trying to throw some humor in there so it's, like, not too serious. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, oh, you're a high ball saying, oh, he's super duper Zoro, Super Saiyan Zoro, the guy unbeatable, so strong. Even if Kaido's not carrying the island, even if Kaido's going full strength, even if Kaido's taking him fully seriously, he still can't block the attack, still can't dodge it. That's speed blitzing. And then the low ball is that Kaido just stood there like Saitama, let Zoro smack the club upwards in the air, and then took Ashura to the chest. The reality, probably somewhere in between there, but I honestly lean closer to the low ball. I genuinely think Kaido's not really taking Zoro seriously, more or less is letting him do this attack. Cosmic, I'm not really sure what that means, man. I don't know what false dichotomy and conflated correlation and causation actually means, man. I'm sorry, I don't really know what that means, bro. He was stonewalling, he couldn't make a genuine point, and when he frustrated you because you took that as a top. No. But yeah, it's like, I just think this whole stream just proved me right. Because, chat, tell me yes or no. Was my point right? The only way you're able to debate Zoro being close is if you highball multiple things Zoro did? Let me know in the chat right now. Yes or no? Is that true or false? Because it seems like the only way you can even make an argument for Zoro being close to Luffy at all is if you are highballing multiple things Zoro does back to back to back. Let me know in the chat, yes or no, is that right or wrong? Because to me, that's what this stream has proven. And that's why I said this is a very unique time to be a One Piece fan. At the end of Anno, you said yes, I'm right? Yeah. At the end of Elbaf, Zoro's probably going to get some really good feats. At the end of Elbaf, Zoro's probably going to get some really good feats, and I could see end of Elbaf Zoro getting some, like, Gear 4 Luffy level feats, like, solidly. That's very possible that could happen. Just with, like, how Oda, like, gives these guys big power-ups each arc. I could see that happening, especially since we're getting closer to the end of the series. But right now, this is a very unique time in terms of, like, being a One Piece fan, where just objectively, Luffy just has way better feats. And it's like, for Zoro fans to even debate Zoro being close, they have to highball like 3 things in a row. Like, saying that Zoro is speed blitzing Kaido is a huge, huge highball. Stormy, you said I handled that well. I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. You said I was right, Snailium. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, saying that Zoro is speed blitzing Kaido here is the highest highball possible. Saying that Kaido just stood here, like, I mean, and look at this. You don't even see Kaido swing. Ah, dang. Keep doing that. You don't even see Kaido swing at him, bro. Like, you see the Ashura form, and then you see Kaido just standing here. You see Kaido just standing here, bro. And it's like Kaido's club is, like, parried upwards, okay? The lowest low ball is, you could just say he used his Ashura arms to smack the club up into the air. Kaido was just standing there like Saitama. He smacked the club up into the air. And then he hits him with Ashura. That's the lowest low ball possible, but like no one really wants to talk about that. Why does no one want to talk about the low ball interpretation of the scene? They only want to use the highest high ball. The lowest low ball is Kaido just stood there. Zoro smacked the club in the air and then hits him with a Shura right after, and Kaido lets him do it. That's the lowest low ball. And it's like, I mean, we see clearly Kaido's not using a name attack. It's not like Ashura's overpowering Thunder Bagua. It's not like, I mean, bruh, the way people talk about that Ashura scene, they talk about it like it's this. People out here talking about the Ashura scene like it's this. People are out here talking about the Ashura scene like it's this, chat. Where Kaido's straight up doing a named attack. And Luffy's just straight countering it. And then you see it turns into this. They're just both like taking insane amounts of... They're taking insane damage, just going crazy. Luffy's countering that and then kicks Kaido in the chest. Makes him cough up blood. They're talking about Ashura like it's this. They're talking about Ashura like it's this, chat. And this is just Gear 3 Luffy. Let me scroll through the chat, see if... Cosmic, you said conflating... Cosmic, can you use... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. But, like, there's no need to use, like, big words like this. You can just, like, say the in simpler words. Yeah, because, I mean... All I'm gonna say, guys, is, like, this whole stream just proved me right, man. Like, the only way you can even argue that Zoro can even hit him is if you highball Zoro 2 or 3 times, string all the highballs together, and then you can maybe say that Zoro could hit lowball Luffy. But if I use highball Luffy the same way you guys are using highball Zoro, this is not even close to a debate. You guys want me to show you how strong a highball Luffy is? You want me to show you how strong a highball Luffy is? Here's highball Luffy, okay? Because, well, Matt, I am doing good, bro. I appreciate that, man. Let me just explain to you this whole debate. Everything everyone said, they were highballing Zoro to the... Not everyone was doing this, but like all of... I'm not even going to say all. A lot of the arguments I was hearing for Zoro, and I really want you guys to hear this point here, chat. Really, like, absorb this point here for a moment. I really hope the chat listens to this. Most of what the arguments for Zoro were highballs. That's like the highest logical interpretation possible. And it's honestly to a point where it's not that logical in some cases. That's what highballs are. They are exaggerations. That's what a highball is. That's an exaggeration, okay? And they were doing all of that just to be able to counter this scene. They're doing all of that just to be able to say, like, he'd be able to fight on par, or be stronger than this version of Luffy, so then he could hit Luffy. That's what all of that's about. Okay? It's a lowball Luffy, too. I'm using lowball Luffy. If I use highball Luffy, it's not close. Let me show you what it's like if I use highball Luffy. If I use highball Luffy, I would say this. The statement where Kaido's... Here, listen to this, chat. This is highball Luffy, and I want you to just understand why if I used highball Luffy from the start, this never would have been a debate at all. It would have just not been close, okay? Here's highball Luffy. Highball Luffy is where Kaido says, I wonder how long it's been since I fought someone who could truly go toe-to-toe with me. What that means is from this point, Kaido's going 100%. Kaido's going 100% from this point out. He's not holding back anymore, and Luffy, just using Gear 2, Gear 3, is able to go toe-to-toe with 100% Kaido. This 100% Kaido is many times stronger than the combined attack that broke all of Zoro's bones. This dozens of Thunder's Boglets thing here, it's dozens of times stronger than the combined attack that broke all of Zoro's bones. Luffy's casually reacting to it, casually countering it. This means that nothing in like, if Luffy hits Zoro with this, he's turning Zoro into dust. And all of everything that everyone else did prior to this, it was just Kaido letting himself be hit. This is the only time Kaido's trying in the fight, the entire fight. Everything else was just Kaido letting himself be hit. So you could say everyone else was fighting a 20% Kaido. Luffy's fighting a 100% Kaido. And he's able to speed blitz him. He's able to overcome attacks that are dozens of times stronger than what would have broken all of Zoro's bones. And he's doing this in Gear 2 and Gear 3. The reason why Kaido's able to hold his own against Gear 5 is because Luffy's tired. Luffy's tired from the damage he took in this fight. If Luffy went Gear 5 at the beginning, he would have dominated Kaido. That's highball Luffy. You guys don't want me to use that, because if I did, it sounds silly, and it's just, there's nothing Zoro could ever do. That's what highball Luffy is. It's like highball Luffy is saying that he's just straight up already equal in power to Kaido Gear 2, Gear 3, and the only reason Kaido could fight Gear 4 and Gear 5 is because Luffy was tired. That's the only reason Kaido could fight him. It's because Luffy was tired. Gear 5 was stronger than Kaido. If he used it, if he had it at the start, Kaido would have just lost immediately. That's highball Luffy. You guys don't want me to do that. You guys don't want me to do that, bro. So this whole debate, I've just been using lowball Luffy and just like watching people highball Zoro the whole time. If you're using lowball Zoro versus lowball Luffy, it's not a debate. Luffy's just can't be hit. Okay, the reason I just brought that up is to show you how, like, it doesn't sound right when you just use highballs. You have to use, like, low, medium ball interpretations when you're debating characters. You can't just throw their highballs out there and just, like, assume that it's right. All right, guys. You know, the thing I dislike about live streams is, like, this live stream, I want to go back and read all of the comments in the live chat, because when I'm doing the debate portion, the only chats that I read are the super chats. But from my perspective, something that's fun is to go back and, like, listen to the debate again and read what the chat is saying the whole time. I do, especially with these debates. These are very fun. So I know that, like, tomorrow I will do that, but it's like, what I'm saying is, with live streams, the problem with them is, like, YouTube doesn't even let you watch it, doesn't let you watch the live comments until like about 20 hours after the live stream's uploaded. So I won't be able to, like, see everything you guys said until tomorrow night, which is a shame. I'll only be able to see, like, the past, like, 100 comments. But tomorrow I will watch this debate again and read every comment. I do that every single one of these. It's fun. But yeah, I wanted this one to be an in-depth stream. This one's kind of a unique one because I'm not doing another Zoro stream until Zoro gets some more feats. But just to clarify, I don't want to be rude to anyone who was defending Zoro. That's not my intention. Just wanted to have a debate, that's all. But I'm about to close this stream. I'm just looking through the comments to see if anyone said anything to me. What about Sky PO, where they defeated a nails juiced up general even though they have future sight? They did not have future sight. That's just observation hockey. Snailian, bro, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. You said love the streams. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, if you just happen to join in at that last Luffy highball segment, that's not what I actually believe. I was just saying that's how highballs sound, and they're, like, silly. They're kind of silly. And it's like, high balls, you should really only use them in YouTube videos, like at the very end after you've said all the low ball and medium ball interpretations first. The high ball is like the highest possible interpretation of a scene. You don't just like start a debate with the high ball interpretation. You should start it with the low and medium. Tayshawn, you said read my last message, bro. What did you say? I'm looking for it. You said Lilo spittin', LOL. That one? Did I miss something else? I'm looking. Was that the one you wanted me to read? I'm looking above that. I don't know. I don't see. Will I ever do a Zoro versus Sanji vid again? Probably not, man. Probably not. That debate actually didn't really do very well either. You said that was too far? You had something in between that, Tayshawn? I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see it. Would you be able to repeat it? I don't know what you said. I'm looking, but I don't see it. I just see Lilo spitting. Correlation, this is Cosmic, you said correlation and causation is saying getting Advanced Conqueror's Haki does not equal getting more speed. Nothing about Advanced Conqueror's Haki implies you get faster. All you can say, wait, what? Oh, I just deleted. Oh, you said you want to debate Cosmic Cookie? Maybe on a different stream. Maybe on a different stream. But but yeah, guys, I mean, I think this stream is like something very valuable, bro, because it shows like what I was saying. That's why I started the stream out saying that. I started the stream out saying the only way you can debate Zoro's even close to Luffy is if you highball him. Like, do you guys remember me saying that at the start of the stream? I said the only way you can do it is if you highball him, like 3 or 4 highballs and string them all together, and you might be able to make him relative to lowball Luffy. You guys remember me saying that? Because that's all we saw the whole stream. Or at least most of the stream. But alright, guys, that's enough for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.